guys? Welcome into the stream. How are we all? How are we all? I hope you guys are all doing amazing. Welcome in, welcome in. Yeah, how are you guys doing? How are you guys doing on a fine Friday night? Is it Friday? It is Friday, right? It is a Friday. How's your Friday in chat? Give me a scale of 1 to 10. How's it been? How's it been? I am, chat, here's the thing. I know that tomorrow I've got to wake up early, and when I say early, it's not that early, but it's like, tomorrow I've got to be at fucking Toby's office for 11:30, apparently. And it's like an hour travel, which means I'm going to have to leave the house by like 10:30 at the latest. It's probably going to have to be earlier, and then I've got to be up at like 8, 9 a.m. You know how horrid that is? You know how fucking horrid that is? Yeah, we're variety streaming, chat. We're variety streaming. Chat, today, by popular request, we are going to learn everything we need to know about Greek mythology and the Greek gods. Now, I was thinking this would be a React to Andy stream, right? But is there like a good video? Like, is there like one in particular that I should watch, chat, or because I imagine it's pretty fucking long. What is the Odyssey? What is the Odyssey, chat? Should I just watch like this 2-hour one, or should I watch the 3.5-hour one? Has anyone watched any of these? Fear it's gonna be a long stream, right? I feel like I should watch a longer one. I watched the second one. This one? The 35-minute one? Can I read poems, chat? Am I allowed to do that? Am I allowed to do that? Should we watch this? And then if we need to fill stuff in? So, wait, hold on. Homer poem. Homer poems. The story covers a few weeks towards the end of the siege and that alludes to many of the legends of the time, notably the story of Achilles. So they made just a bunch of poems. You know what? I think maybe to start... No, like copyright-wise. But if it's really old, it's probably public domain. You reckon this... Is this one good? By Jake W? Is this guy... Is this guy... Does this guy eat? Should we watch it? There are so many names of, like, Icaruses and shit. It's quite funny because I don't know if anyone else is the same. Is it bad that if I see someone that has Icarus in their Twitch username, I assume you're an AMC TV viewer? Is that fucked up of me? Is that fucked up of me, or is it just real of me? I fear it might just be very real of me. Does anyone else do the same? I see Icarus and I'll be like, that's an AMC TV viewer. Which is very funny to me. Yeah, I guess we watch this one. Can we ask what your base knowledge of Greek mythos is? Zeus has a lightning bolt. Poseidon is the sea. The god of the sea. There's that one with the green hair, the snake hair. Her name is Medusa. When she looks at people, she turns them to stone. Hey, prepare you to hear a lot of incest. What? The Greek god... What? Wow. Okay. Hera is bad. Is Hera bad? I'm assuming Hera is a bad one, chat, because Hera is bad in Area Unknown. Is Hera bad? Because Hera's bad in Area Unknown. Hades, I think, is god of the underworld, if I'm not mistaken. Is the Minotaur to do with Greek mythology? Medusa's not a god. Oh, isn't Medusa like a... No, Medusa like fucked a god, right? Or something. And then Medusa got cursed. Right? I think Medusa fucked a god. And then Medusa got cursed for some reason. I can't remember exactly why. I think she like cheated on the god or something. Kind of insane to cheat on a literal god. I don't know anything about Hera. I just know she's bad in Area Unknown. They're the same. So like she can go invisible and like likes pink tulips. Yeah, I'm trying to think what else I know. I don't think I know anything else, chat. I know about the Minotaur. I think the Minotaur is cool. I know about Icarus, who had wings. I don't think Icarus was a god. I think Icarus was maybe blessed with wings, but they flew too close to the sun and they died. I can't think of anything else. His dad made the wings? Wait, is Icarus a guy? I did not realize Icarus was a guy. He's just a dude. Okay, let's watch this video. And let's figure things out. Hopefully this will be good.
Hey, have you ever wondered why things exist? Well, a few years ago, there were some people over here who had answers.
That was a lot. Oh my goodness, that was... I need to switch my channel because I'm on my VOD channel real quick. Hold on. That was a lot off the bat.
Hey.
That was a lot.
Hey, have you ever wondered why things exist? Well, a few years ago, there were some people over here who had answers to that question, and they made poems and bowl art about it. And now they have a pretty active fanfiction community.
Huh? They have a pretty active fanfiction community?
And they made poems and bowl art about it. And now they have a pretty...
Is this like a joke? Are these fanfictions of Greek mythology, or... I can't tell. Not a joke? Oh, so there just is. To be fair, it makes sense. I've got a question. Does Area Unknown count as Greek mythology fan fiction? Oh, yeah, I guess Percy Jackson. Yeah, I guess. Does Area Unknown count as Greek mythology fan fiction? Because, like, low-key... Low-key? Anyway, should we get into this? Because I'm going to pause too much.
Active fanfiction community. I'm Jake, and welcome to...
subtitles?
This is Greek Mythology with Jake. Okay, so for a while there wasn't much going on, but then a few primordial deities started popping up. Earth was lonely, so she...
Okay, hold on. Let's go back.
While there wasn't much going on, but then a few primordial...
Okay, so Gaia, mother of life. Tartarus, the endless abyss. And Eros, the embodiment of love and passion.
Deities started popping up. Earth was lonely, so she sprouted a bunch of sentient geographical features and also a sentient sky, and he was her favorite.
Uranus, the sky. Is Uranus a god? Or is it just mean the planet? I mean, we can debate that season 1 would be like... Ollie would be like Poseidon. Because I had tridents? Because I had, like, a lot of water and, like... I actually... Wait, no, what? Yeah, because I, like, had the big lake and I tamed a shit ton of axolotls. Yeah, I guess you probably could.
So he got to be in charge of everything. And they had a bunch of kids together, but...
Damn, they had a lot of kids. Okay, so these... And if I'm not mistaken, any kids of gods are demigods? Question mark? I think that's right? Few of the planets are actual god names. Oh, okay.
Some of them were ugly, so their sky dad put them in jail. And that made Earth Mom sad, so she told her normal-looking kid Cronus to stab him. But nobody invented knives yet, so he just opted to neuter his dad with gardening tools. And Skydad was so embarrassed about this that he decided to stop being important, and then Cronut got to be in charge instead. But Skydad's still up there being the sky, I guess. And Earth Mom was like, hey, are you gonna let your ugly...
Is there any gods that are, like... son or daughter of two gods? So if both parents are gods, they would also become a god, right? I think that's how it works. But like, isn't like the whole point of all of the gods is that like they each serve a specific thing? What if there's no things to serve? Or is that just not true?
Siblings out of jail now, because that was kind of the main reason I told you to stab your dad. But Cronus didn't hear her because he was too busy planning his incest wedding. But then he realized, oh man, what if I have kids and they find out how awesome it is to usurp your father? And nobody invented birth control yet, so instead of not procreating with his sister, he decided to just eat his kids whenever they popped out. And that took
okay.
care of things pretty well. But that made his wife's sister sad, so by the time she was about to have her 6th kid, Zeus, she devised a really smart plan. Hey, can you hand over our newborn son so I can cannibalize him like I did with our last 5 children while you helplessly watched? Sure, here you go. Here is our son, our newborn son who I just gave birth to and am handing over to you right now. Oh, thanks. But little did he know, it was actually just a rock.
Oh, it was just quite literally a rock. It was quite literally just a rock. He's fucking stupid. Is he not a literal god? And he fell for that shit? Silly fucker.
The real baby Zeus was taken to a cave.
Hey guys, the Greek mythology actually, you know, serves some important lessons. If someone gives you a rock and said, this is your baby, don't eat it.
Where a goat raised him, and they put on an EDM festival outside so nobody would hear him making baby sounds and stuff. Once Zeus grew up, he was like, you know what sounds fun? Usurping my father. So he snuck some tummy ache juice into Cronus's coffee, and that made him puke up all his kids, who are now fully grown gods.
Whoa! He puked up them? Damn. How big are these gods, by the way? Is there like a thing of that? Like, is he fucking giant? Is he like giant? Because I feel like he has to be giant, right? Yeah, otherwise it would definitely hurt horrors. I'm assuming he's very big and these are probably more normal size, though. He's a Titan, okay, like Attack on Titans.
And Zeus was like, hey, want to usurp our dad? And they were like, yeah, that sounds fun.
Oh, so these are the kids. Hera, oh, Hera looks angry. Poseidon, God, okay, I'm going to try this. I don't know these two. So feel free to let me know about Hestia and Demeter. Hera is, I don't know what god of, but I know they're not nice. Poseidon is god of the sea, and Hades is god of the underworld. What are these two? What are these two god of, chat? Hestia and Demeter. Hestia in Greek religion is goddess of hearth. What does hearth actually mean? I know like hearthstone. Demeter, goddess of grain, like rice and shit. Like harvest. Okay. So this is like the harvest and, you know. So, goddess of the hearth. What does that mean? What does the hearth mean?
And so began the epic 10-year battle known as the Titanomachy. But we don't actually know what happened for most of it because the ancient Greeks forgot to write it down. Or
they just forgot to fucking write it down. They wrote everything else, and then there was this giant fucking 10-year battle between the two sides, and they just forgot to write it down. That shit was destroyed. That shit was destroyed.
Did, but it was all in the Library of Alexandria or something, I don't know. But after fighting for a while, Earthmom went to Zeus and was like, hey, while you're fighting this celestial war, could you maybe let your ugly uncles out of jail? Because that was kind of the main thing I was hoping to get out of all of this, and they'll probably hook you up with some cool weapons and stuff. And Zeus and his brothers were like, okay, so they went down to Tartarus to set free the...
So was that... Were they actually like the Earth one? I forget what this god's name is. Is it like a physical person, or is it quite literally like a just entity? Because I'm assuming it wasn't just the Earth and they just chatted to the Earth. I'm assuming they talked to probably some entity, right? Is that how it works? Like in... No, it's fine. Like in Fortnite, when you go and talk to the gods with the scrying pools, is it like that? Would they speak to the gods in the scrying pools? She's a Titan, so like an actual entity. How do you spell it again? A-E-A. Oh, so they were just a giant. It's kind of hard to tell, but I can see a lot where it's like the giant and like she's embedded in the mountains. I guess it's kind of hard to, you know. Okay, so she's the Earth, but she can also take physical form. Gotcha.
Main thing I was hoping to get out of all of this, and they'll probably hook you up.
Like this. Like this scene. Hold on. Reference, right, guys? Guys, I need to latch onto things. I need to By the way, I closed the tab, but it gave me a warning for climate change. There. What the fuck? So it's kind of like that, right?
Up with some cool weapons and stuff. And Zeus and his brothers were like, okay, so they went down.
These guys like fell out, right? Dare I do it again? Dare I do it again? It's like Creation Trio. Right? These three are like Creation Trio from Pokemon. And one's kind of in a way in the same dynamic that this one was banished to the underworld. This one was bad, and this one got sent to the underworld and the distortion world. Actually, it was called. Guys, it's like Pokemon. It's just like Pokemon.
To Tartarus to set free the Cyclopes and the Hecatoncheires.
Yeah.
Nailed it. And they were like, thanks. It gave them a bunch of dope loot. And
are these guys relevant except they just gave them shit?
Weapons and stuff. And Zeus and his brothers were like,
hold on.
Okay, so they went down to Tartarus to set...
So are these guys relevant, or did they just get freed and then they got given stuff?
Free the Cyclopes and the Hecatoncheires.
So they gave them, like, their weapons?
And they were like, thanks.
I'm assuming these go, like, together, maybe? Like, there's, like, I don't know.
It gave them a bunch of dope.
So, Zeus got the lightning bolt. Poseidon got the trident. And Thingy could go invis?
Loot. And then they were finally able to kick their dad's ass, and they threw him and a bunch of the other titans into god jail. And Cronus was like, I'm realizing the irony of my actions because my dad suppressed his children, which led to his downfall, and then I did the same thing to my children, which yielded similar results, and now Zeus is probably going to face similar choices, and it's kind of this whole thing about cyclical abuse, and damn, the ancient Greeks really knew how to tell relatable stories that captured the core of the human experience, despite their seemingly fantastical subject matters.
Yeah.
And people are probably going to write a lot of
chat, be honest, is this a quote?
like academic papers on this subject and unconsciously parallel it in their own modern stories and blarg, I'm gonna stop being...
This is me when I talk about Pokemon lore in a voice chat.
Important now. And so then Zeus and his brothers got to be in charge of everything. Zeus got to rule the sky and be boss of all the other lamer gods.
Yes.
Poseidon got to rule the ocean, and Hades got to manage all the dead people because he was the last person to say not it. But he got to name his office after himself, so that's cool. Meanwhile, their oldest sister Hestia got to be in charge of campfires.
Awesome. Dude, you know how funny that is? Imagine it's like, yeah, you're god of the sky and all the other gods. You're the god of the sea and all the like sea creatures. You're the god of the dead and you can speak to ghosts. You can be the god of the campfires. Yeah, you can be the campfire god. Like, that's funny.
And that's about it, but she's doing a great job. Their middle sister Demeter controls the weather to make plants grow and stuff. Okay. But after a messy custody battle with Hades, she started half-assing her job, and now we get snow sometimes.
Oh.
Zeus took a note from his old man and married his youngest sister.
So snow was kind of like they fell out and partially, but partially not at the same time. She didn't want the power. Okay, I got you. So, oh wait, Hera.
Half-assing her job, and now we get snow sometimes. Zeus took a note from his old man and married his youngest sister, Hera. And they had a few kids together, like Ares, god of war and bloodlust, whose
Oh, shit. Okay.
Hobbies include fighting things and getting his ass kicked like half the time. Their other son was Hephaestus, but he was ugly and had weird-looking legs, so Hera tossed him out the window, and he landed next to two mermaids who adopted him and gave him Legos to play with. He got really good at building Legos, so when he was older, he decided to get payback on his mom by building her a fancy chair and secretly coating it with super glue so she would get stuck.
That's
and
awesome.
Zeus was like, "Hey, sweet prank, you can sit with the cool kids now, son. By the way, I have a really bad migraine. Could you split my skull open with an axe real quick?"
Oh, okay.
Sure, Dad. And out popped Athena, goddess of wisdom, fully clad in battle armor. "Oh, hi, new daughter. Why were you in my head? Remember that chick you hooked up with and then you made her turn into a fly and ate her?" Wow, great story. Let's change the subject. I love my wife. Yeah, it turns out Zeus was quite the lady killer, and Hera wasn't a big fan of that. This one time she found a girl's number on Zeus's phone and chased her onto an island where she gave birth to two twins named Artemis and Apollo. Artemis thought...
I know Artemis, and I don't know why, but I know.
Boys were icky, so she decided to live in the forest with her friends to hunt magical animals, help deliver babies, and occasionally kill a giant or two. You know, girl stuff. Apollo, on the other hand, was quite the socialite, and he was tight with everyone. Ladies, gentlemen, goat people, oracles, sun gods, you name it. Want to chill and bang out some sick tunes? He's got you covered. Have a giant serpent problem? Apollo's your guy. Need to cure a plague, or perhaps
He was a handyman, pretty much.
inflict one on your enemies? Say no more, compadre. Anyway, then there was...
Yeah, I was going to say, this feels like this is going really fast.
This one human lady who Zeus was dating who started wondering...
Should I go back to one of the, like, long-ass videos, chat? What do you think? Should I go to one of the long videos? Because I feel like this one is going way too fast.
Forest with her friends to hunt magic...
Let's try the 2-hour one. And hope it's not too boring.
At the beginning of everything, there was only chaos. There were already the elements of what would form the universe, but they were completely mixed.
I feel like this is Fit MC in a different, like, timeline, you know?
In a massive absence of meaning. This original chaotic period lasted for many ages.
Oh, it was Birth of Artemis, you're right.
Gaia, the Mother Earth, emerged from this primordial chaos.
She just appeared?
A goddess whose main characteristic was her extreme fertility.
Her main characteristic was her extreme fertility? What are you known for? Being very fertile?
The goddess Gaia gave birth to our planet, and
I'm scared that there's gonna be, like, some tits in this video.
personified all the earth that covers the world.
Because I feel like that's a lot of Greek
She
art.
gave birth to several primordial deities, such as Pontus, the god of the sea.
Let me just check if it's age restricted, but I don't think it would be, because it's educational. Should we just hope for the best?
And
Chat,
Aureus,
if someone pops a tit, pretend they didn't, and yeah.
the deity of the mountains.
This feels more my pace.
Gaia gave birth to the god Uranus, a supreme being who would personify heaven, reigning over all things. Uranus made Gaia his wife. During the night, Nyx, the goddess of the night, also emerged from chaos. She crossed the heavens every day, covering it with her black mountain. At dusk, Uranus and Gaia united. The fruits of this union quickly began to hatch.
So he was like at work. This video is wrong? In what way is the video wrong, chat? In which way?
The goddess gave birth to creatures with dreadful features.
Wasn't Gaia's son? So Uranus was... Where did Uranus pop up? If there's any things that are wrong, chat, just correct them.
Including Hecatoncheirus, monsters with 100 arms and several heads, and the Cyclops, powerful one-eyed beings.
Okay.
Uranus and...
Wait, was Cyclops invented with Greek mythology? Chat? She just spawned him, he wasn't necessarily his son? Is that kind of how it is?
Gaia also gave birth to a new generation of gods, powerful beings who would become...
Is it like whenever they're saying give birth, it's kind of like they were just spawned?
...known as Titans. The celestial god, when he saw the powerful
Sorry to pause again. Does Attack on Titan count as a fanfiction? They got whitelisted, fuck's sake.
offspring he had begotten, began to fear being dethroned by them, so he took action. Uranus threw all his children into Tartarus, a dark place in the depths of the earth.
This is kind of like that one thing with Pirates SMP.
Appalled, the Titans beat the walls of Tartarus with violence, trying to escape. They were trapped in Gaia's womb. The revolt of creatures that were so powerful provoked an intense pain in their mother, who suffered terrible aches. Gaia couldn't stand that situation and decided to conspire against her husband.
Oh, that's really cool. It's not cool, but, like, that's cool that, like, the pit they were thrown in was in her womb and it caused her pain when they tried to break out, but they didn't know that they were in her womb, and that's cool.
Goddess asked one of her children to destroy Uranus, but all the Titans rejected.
Just go to Taco Bell and am I right?
Except Kronos, the most ambitious, who thought he could perform that task. Kronos receives a scythe made of diamond and headed to the heavens, wielding that weapon. In the celestial residence of Uranus, Kronos found the supreme god sleeping on a cloud. With a sharp stroke of his sickle, the Titan castrated his father.
Damn. He just cut his cock. Wow!
Uranus's cry of pain was heard throughout the universe.
Insane.
The skies were painted bright red, the blood of Uranus. Uranus's testicles were thrown into the ocean, and giving their fertilizing abilities, several deities emerged in the waters.
His balls were cut off, fell in the ocean, and because his sperm was so fertile, it just spawned more gods.
Cronus triumphantly returned and freed his imprisoned brothers. As the great hero of the revolt, he was hailed as the new supreme lord of the universe.
Yeah.
Cronus didn't
Wait, so
free...
so Lord of the Universe was previously Zeus, right? Did he just, like, bleed out or something? Like, did he overtake Zeus, or was Zeus then... Zeus comes... Was that not Zeus up there? Who was that up at the top? I forgot their name. Uranus, sorry. So is Uranus dead now? Yeah, I'm getting confused. They look similar. Is Uranus dead after getting his cock cut off? Or is he, like, just chilling? It's like, I don't want to deal with this now. You can't really kill a god, so he kind of is just, like, stepping back. He's just not as powerful. He's lacking his cock. How's he gonna be as powerful now?
The Hecatoncheirus, nor the Cyclops.
What the heck?
Because he considered them very dangerous.
Really? Okay.
They remained in Tartarus. After the banquet...
Yeah, that does seem a little bit of a bad idea. It's like, hey, you've been banished to here. Can you free everyone by killing this guy or cutting his cock off? And he's like, yeah, okay, let's free everyone, except from these people because I don't like these ones.
The new sovereign was visited by his father's specter, which revealed to him a terrible prophecy. He said that, like his father, who had been dethroned by an infamous descendant, Cronus would also lose the supreme throne, overthrown by his own son in a terrible fate.
Damn.
Cronus reigned supreme over the universe, after dethroning his father and liberating the Titans. Like his father, the god Uranus, Cronus began a tyrannical reign over the world. With the support of the Titans, he had no rival. But, despite having supreme power, the Titan lived tormented by the curse invoked by his father, who said that one of his sons...
Oh, so was it like, he just knew, or did he curse him, chat? Was he's like, okay, now that you cut my cock off, fine, your son, he's gonna do the same to you. Like father, like son. Is that what it was? He put a curse on him? But he was like all powerful, but he was like always knew that like this curse was a thing, and he was eventually going to be killed by his... Would you just not have a kid? Like if your dad was like, you cut my cock off, your son is now cursed to cut your cock off. Would you not just not have a son? I feel like that seems the... Oh, was this the fella that eats his kids?
Would be responsible for his fall. Cronus was willing to do anything to prevent that outcome.
See, but the gods are stupid. Yeah, that's why there's gods of like everything, not just one god, because they're a bit daft. They can only look after one thing.
Sovereign was married to Titanide Rhea, a divinity loved and adored by all. The Queen of the Titans soon had her first daughter, awakening in Cronus his most monstrous side. Rhea gave birth to a new kind of divinity that seemed superior to the previous generation.
How so?
The Titan asked to grab his first daughter.
Our daughter's born. Can I hold her? Yeah, you can hold her. Yeah, here she is. Thank you. Insane.
Named Hestia, one of the most loving deities ever. But in the child's eyes, Cronus saw his terrible future.
Oh, he saw
it? A hideous impulse caused the Titan to devour his daughter. Cronus.
What do you mean caused him to devour? Like, he just did it. It wasn't caused. It wasn't like an involuntary reaction, you know?
Would take the newborns from the arms of their mother, who helplessly tried to prevent the tyrant from devouring one more of her children.
I'm gonna say it again. These gods are fucking stupid. If he keeps eating your kids, stop giving him kids.
She begged in vain.
Please don't eat this kid. He's changed. Let me give him another kid. No, he ate it again.
But could not soften the hard heart of the Titan. The children were successively devoured. But Rhea promised herself she wouldn't allow that monster to devour another of her children.
Then stop
The queen got pregnant again, but had a plan to save her baby from her terrible husband. Rhea would hide in a cave on the island of Crete, where she intended to give birth away from Cronus. She gave birth to a beautiful child who had incredible power.
Yeah.
Rhea felt that the women of destiny had woven a glorious...
So when they said before, chat, when they were like, this first one was like the most, like, loving deity, how do they know? That kid was just born and ate on spot. Like, how do they know it was like the most loving deity? I don't know.
Future for her son, who received the name Zeus. Rhea left her son in the care of the nymphs and Corybants, who beat their shields hard to muffle the sound of the powerful cry of the divine baby. The queen wrapped a stone...
Would that not be a bit obvious? Just randomly, there's just some people just banging their swords and their shields
in a cloak
for years,
and took it to her husband. Cronus was waiting for her, ready to devour another child.
Nah, because, like, he deserved it, man. He actually deserved it. Not just for, you know, everything else, but because he's fucking stupid.
And
he didn't even check it.
Received the false baby delivered by Rhea. Cronus swallowed the stone without blinking, while the queen cried on the ground. But this time, the tears were not of sadness, but of emotion in saving her son's life.
Thank you for the follow.
On the island of Crete, Zeus was breastfed with the milk of the Amalthea goat, strengthening himself every day.
Is that like a powerful goat, or is it just a breed of goat? Like, I'm assuming that's some, like, you know, God-sent goat that, like, makes gods strong or some shit, right?
Zeus was informed of all that was happening in the world by a powerful eagle, which would become...
That eagle is high as shit.
...his sacred bird. The god grew into a powerful deity, ready to fulfill his destiny.
When does he get the
lightning
lightning bolt?
As an adult, Zeus was unexpectedly visited by Metis, a wise deity, who gave him a decisive gift for his journey. Metis revealed to Zeus the terrible fate of his brothers, imprisoned in the stomach of the Titan. But with a potion, Zeus could free the other gods.
Oh, this is like the like poison.
Zeus, in disguise, went to Mount Orthris, the fortress of the Titans. There he offered the potion to Cronus, promising that the solution was a delightful delicacy.
This guy just rocked up to a god, like, unprompted, through security, with a mysterious liquid, It's really tasty. You should try it. Like, try this. It's really yummy. Let me try.
Cronus felt invincible and did not believe that anyone would dare to plan something against him. So he accepted the potion.
Fucking idiot.
The Titan drank all
Once again, stupid ass guy.
The solution that tasted different. But Cronus quickly began to feel nauseous. The mighty Titan vomited all his children: Hestia, Hera, Demeter, Hades, and Poseidon. They were already
Is Hera gonna be misunderstood?
Adults and had a desire.
I feel like with how it's panning out right now, is like she was freed, and I feel like it's gonna be misunderstood. And she did bad things, but maybe for what she thought was good. Maybe a little AU or at least season 1, but I could be completely wrong, and I'm probably gonna find out that she's just fucking insane, potentially. Let's find out, because I have no idea.
For revenge. Cronus also vomited the stone that deceived him. With his brothers at his side, Zeus led a revolt that would change the fate of the universe.
Did they just run away? Or did they fight him there and then?
After releasing his relatives from the stomach of Titan Cronus, Zeus guided his brothers to the top of Mount Olympus, the highest mountain in Greece. It was there that the headquarters of the rebel gods would be established, who would fight against the tyranny of the Titans. This rebellion gave rise to the Titanomachy, better known as the War of the Titans. On his throne on Mount Othrys, Cronus summoned all his Titan allies to the great battle. The general of Cronus's army was the Titan Atlas, who would lead the
Oh my goodness, Atlas is from something. What video game do they have Atlas in? Or something. Atlas is in something, and I can't think what.
Attacks against the Olympic gods.
No, you're fine, don't worry.
The plains of the Thessaly region were the battlefield between the armies of the gods and the Titans. The Titans began to impose themselves on the gods because of their immense physical power. Zeus, aware of the power of the army
no, I
of
feel
the
like I know Atlas from a character from something somewhere.
Went looking for reinforcements in Tartarus. He freed the strange one-eyed creatures known as Cyclops.
Yeah.
These, in a gesture of gratitude, forged formidable...
It's the item from Fortnite!
...weapons for the gods. Zeus received his famous and powerful lightning bolt. Poseidon was gifted a majestic trident capable of creating earthquakes and tsunamis.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
And Hades, the Helm of Terror, which gave him invisibility.
Damn. Is it like a weapon that gives him invis, chat?
With the new weapons, the gods managed to face the huge titans.
Yeah, so the gods were low-key, they were disadvantaged because they were way bigger than them, the Titans. But they were able to kill the Titans because they had fucking god powers now.
Cronus's army threw whole mountains against the gods. The battle between the gods and the Titans lasted almost 10 years.
Oh, it was just a continuous fight? It wasn't like a war, it was just, they were just genuinely fighting for 10 years? Have a nap, man.
Full of intense hand-to-hand combat, and the scale seemed to tip to the side of the Titans. Zeus decided to free the fearsome Hecatoncheires of Tartarus, giants with 100 arms and 50 heads. The horrendous creatures had a decisive impact on the war.
Oh yeah.
The army of Titans panicked when they came across those grotesque creatures. Zeus gathered all his power to give even more energy to his most powerful...
So, what happens when a god loses a fight, chat? Like, what do they... Because they can't die. What happens if they lose a fight? Do they just give up? Is that what it is? And then, can gods come back? Like, how does it work? Because it doesn't seem like you can't kill a god. If you can't kill a god, then if they're defeated, where do they, like, go? You know? They can be hurt so badly that they can't heal or be in prison. Oh, okay. So they might as well be dead. They physically can't move because they're too injured. Is that all it is? And they can't be in prison because they're fucking gods.
Lightning bolt.
Oh,
This
they can be in
struck
prison.
Cronus's head, and the impact of the blow shook the universe.
Okay.
The Titans were subdued and punished exemplarily.
What is the guy from that one game? He looks kind of like this, and he has actually red on his head. I forget his name. It's that one game. Fuck, what's it called? And there's a skin of it in Fortnite. I forget what it's called. What is it called again, chat? Kratos. Is Kratos a god of any sort? Is Kratos just a name that's inspired by Kronos? Is it like any relation to the Greek gods, or is it just this frame happens to look like him?
Cronus and his allies were condemned to a perpetual existence in Tartarus, the Hecatoncheires assuming the role of jailers. Zeus reserved a special punishment for the Titan Atlas, leader of the Titanic troops.
Oh, yeah, he was the guy that, yeah.
He was condemned to bear the weight of the celestial sphere on his shoulders for all eternity.
What if he dropped it, though? Could he not just stop? Because it seems like he's got the struggle of holding it up for ages. Could he not just stop? I forget, what was his name again?
Weight of leader of the Titan reserved a special punishment for the Titan Atlas.
He'd get crushed. Yeah, but he's a god, so he wouldn't die. I guess he's kind of, yeah. Chat, you know those figures where it's like that, like, statue holding the earth? Is that Atlas? Or is it just something else? Thank you, Kiro, for the follow, by the way. That is? Okay. What does that, like, represent, then? Like, those statues, chat. What do those statues represent? Because it's obviously something. Is it, like, I don't know. I can't think. Like, what meaning would those statues have? Like the statues of him holding the earth. Although he's holding the sky, if I'm not mistaken. Is he holding the earth or is he holding the sky, chat? Because I thought he said the sky. Is the person holding the earth different or just the universe?
Leader of the Titanic troops. He was condemned to bear the weight of the celestial sphere on his shoulders for all eternity. The Olympic gods now reigned supreme. Under the command of Zeus, a new order began in the universe.
This is Hades, potentially, right? This is Hades. This is Poseidon. This is Zeus. One of these is Hera. I can't remember, though.
One of the most powerful deities.
Why he look like Jacksepticeye there, Loki? Do you guys see it? Why does he Loki look like Jacksepticeye? Sorry, anyway. It's a symbol of strength and endurance if you're looking for a meaning. Okay.
One of the most powerful deities in Greek mythology is Poseidon, the god of the seas.
You guys see it, right?
From his throne in his underwater palace, he exercised all his power over the seven seas. Along with his brothers Zeus and Hades, he defeated Kronos and his titans during the infamous Titanomachy. The dominion of the seas was given to Poseidon. Hades ruled over the underworld, while Zeus was in charge of the sky.
I think Zeus is my favorite so far.
Poseidon, the god of the seas, was highly mercurial. In his bouts of rage, quakes and tsunamis were generated. To venture out to the seas could be a way of life with no return. Concerned
so this guy just was pissed off with anyone would go in the sea. I don't really know much about him. He's just cool. He's got a fucking lightning bolt, man. Is that a hot take? Is that what happened with Poseidon? He just got pissed off when anyone went in the sea? And, like, if anyone went in his sea, then he would just fucking, like, tsunami them? It's wild, really? I guess we'll probably find out soon.
The unsteady seas, Zeus thought he had found a solution to ease Poseidon's violent outbursts. The sea god needed a wife.
He's angry all the fucking time. We can fix him. Give him a wife.
The Olympian lord asked Nereus, an ancient sea deity and
Dude, you know how crazy it'd be if, like, sea pollution just keeps happening and then suddenly fucking Poseidon comes back? It's like, no, see, now I got a wife, but now I'm pissed off. And just starts striking everyone.
To yield one of his beautiful daughters to marry Poseidon. He was honored to have one of his descendants reign over the seas. Once Poseidon was...
So Poseidon is just god of the seas. He just fucking has anger issues all the time, right?
Was notified that Nereus would grant one of his daughters to marry the god. He left to meet his future wife. The Nereids, Nereus's daughter, were brought to the god of the sea so that he could choose his new wife. The Nereids were gorgeous sea nymphs, but one girl in particular caught Poseidon's attention. Her name was Amphitrite.
Hi, Amphitrite.
Her black hair like the night made her stand out among the others. On seeing her, the god already knew who his new wife would
dare I say the gods are just men with fragile masculinity.
be. The god sailed off confidently and with a lewd expression in his eyes to marry the beautiful sea nymph. But the innocent mermaid was repulsed by Poseidon's attempt and fled into the darkness of the ocean's depths.
So it just made everything worse. Wait, what?
In his eyes would be. The god sailed off confidently and with a lewd expression in his eyes to marry the beautiful sea nymph.
She didn't rate him. He wanted to marry her. She swam away. Probably just made everything worse, right?
But the innocent mermaid was repulsed by Poseidon's attempt and fled into the darkness of the ocean's depths. As a result, Poseidon searched the entire ocean for Amphitrite, to no avail. The disappointment in romance made the god even more surly.
Yep.
It was now Zeus who was antsy about the whole situation, and forced Doris, Amphitrite's mother, to...
So, what... Zeus, why? So, Zeus was like, he's pissed all the time, gonna give him a wife. Gives him potential wife, wife swims away, doesn't rate him, he gets even more pissed. Because he's more pissed, Zeus is like, well, now I'm pissed off, your turn.
Reveal her daughter's whereabouts. Without any alternative, she revealed her daughter's
this is the mum?
Location. Afraid of frightening the nymph again, Poseidon dispatched his loyal dolphin to convince the Nereid to meet with him. Amphitrite relented to the claims of such a graceful creature and decided to return and give the god of the seas a shot. The mermaid would eventually become the new queen of the seas. In anticipation for her service to Poseidon, Delphin the dolphin was fashioned into a constellation.
Aww.
The union of Poseidon and Amphitrite gave birth...
Was he low-key chill in the end, or...? So Zeus is just a... Okay, so Zeus is the bad guy. Is Poseidon low-key chill? He's just an angry fucker.
To Triton, a god half man, half fish. He would serve as Poseidon's messenger and became his heir. Zeus's scheme apparently worked. The seas became more peaceful and less dangerous. However, not even all the charm of his wife was strong enough to contain the bitter temper of the Lord of the...
So he was still angry, he was just less angry.
Seas.
Or is it like he snapped rarely?
At the beginning of time, the earth was ruled by the Titans, powerful deities.
Wait, hold on, what is happening to the timeline all of a sudden?
Who were the sons of the primordial gods. Prometheus was one of them, a deity as old as time itself, who could foresee the future. The Titan predicted the victory of the Olympic gods over the Titans during the Titanomachy. The great...
So he was like, he was like that one dog during the World Cup where they get them to guess the football scores.
War between gods and Titans for supreme power. He did not oppose Zeus during the conflict and escaped from being imprisoned in Tartarus together with the...
so he was on the other side with the Titans. He knew that the other side was going to win. He was like, you know what, I'm chill with you. So then Zeus was chill with him.
Other Titans. When the conflict ended, Zeus ordered Prometheus and his brother Epimetheus to create and populate the land with the most diverse animals.
Oh, okay, with animals. Okay. I was gonna say, does Greek mythology have empregs?
The Titans had plenty of raw material, and while Epimetheus was molding every kind of creature, Prometheus coordinated the production process. Each animal was given a talent. The birds were given the ability to fly. The elephant was granted an enormous strength, and the talents were evenly distributed. Man was saved for the end.
So these guys were like chill as fuck. So far, I say someone's chill as fuck, and then it's like they ate their babies. They, you know, like
to do something special. However, after shaping man from clay, they realized that all talents had already been attributed to the other animals.
Aww.
Prometheus presented his work to the goddess Athena. She felt marveled by the Titan.
Who is Athena god of? She's the, I can't remember. What is Athena god of, chat? God of wisdom? Okay.
Titan's work, and decides to bless it with the divine breath. This is how humanity came to be.
Ah.
But Prometheus was
So she was like, okay, you guys did awesome. Humans.
Not happy with the result. He wanted man to stand out over all animals.
Ah.
He was just a smarter monkey. Man lived in caves, dodging every kind of animal, subsisting on fruits that dropped on the ground, fearing and dreading darkness. Athena advises Prometheus to introduce fire to man. With the sunset, the Titan headed to Helios's carriage.
Is this going to be like the bush on fire thing, or is that in the Bible?
Which was waiting for a new dawn. Prometheus lit the torch that would be given to humanity. With fire, man started to develop rapidly. Weapons and tools were created, and man began to dominate nature. Prometheus was finally happy. He was humanity's good
That's
maker.
kind of insane. He's like, I want these to be better than all the other animals. How? And she's like, just give him fire, mate. And he's like, what? Okay, fine. And then they just started fucking making iPhones.
Watching the blooming of this new creature, Zeus decreed that they would honor the gods by offering sacrifices. But Prometheus interceded on behalf of humanity, preventing his
I feel like this isn't going to be good.
Creation from being exploited. Prometheus was very clever and attempted to deceive the god on behalf of men. Prometheus asked for a bull to be sacrificed to the gods. The product of the sacrifice would be split into two piles.
Right.
One was smaller, but contained the best meats, covered by the animal's skin. The other pile was bigger, but it only contained bones and entrails. These were wrapped in fat, which made the offering look attractive. The cunning Prometheus knew that Zeus's ambition would make him...
Wait, so they gave him a 50-50? Is this what happened? He was like, all right, no, like, see, like, I don't know if I want them to give sacrifices. One of these has bones, one of these has meat. If you get the meat, they have to sacrifice for you. Is that what happened?
Choose.
Oh, this is where don't judge a book by its cover came from. Ah, so why isn't it don't judge I guess it doesn't, don't judge a sacrifice by how juicy the meat. It doesn't ring the same, does it? Yeah.
The bigger pile, while man would have the best part. And he was right. Realizing that he had been tricked, Zeus was furious with those...
So was it a 50-50 thing?
Sacrifice would be split into two piles. One was smaller, but contained the best meats, covered by the animal's skin. The other pile was bigger, but it only contained bones and entrails. These were wrapped in fat, which made the offering look attractive. The cunning Prometheus knew that Zeus's ambition would make him choose the bigger pile.
So was it like whatever, is that how it worked? Was it a 50-50 thing, chat? Like, did he flip a coin?
Man would have the best part. And he was right. Realizing that he had been tricked, Zeus was furious with those who had deceived him and decided to take the fire out of the hands of humanity.
The humans knew, yeah.
Without the fire, man...
So, what was the 50-50 chance for exactly, chat? Like, was it just like, you pick one of these piles. If you pick the one with bones, bad luck. If you pick the one with meat, you get all of the meat. If you don't pick the one with the meat, the humans get to, you know, enjoy the spoils of their labor. Is it just that?
Kind started to regress. They were again tormented by darkness and cold and could no longer cook their food. Outraged, Prometheus decided to steal the sacred fire.
Wait, is Prometheus low-key the goat, chat? So far, Prometheus seems like the fucking goat.
And give it back to man. During the night, he went to Olympus and returned with the flame stolen from Hephaestus's forges.
Okay.
With the re-establishment of fire dominance, mankind was thriving once more. But the glowing flames attracted Zeus's attention during the night. Furious.
Wait, so it was all dark? Was this happening when it was all dark? And then, yeah, he was like, as a punishment, everything's dark, you're freezing. So he gives them fire, and then Zeus sees the fire, is like, fuck you, Prometheus. Little shit.
The supreme god decided that Prometheus could not go unpunished, given his insolence.
Wait, he took his insulin?
Prometheus could not go unpunished, given his insolence.
Oh, never mind. I thought he took... I was like, he took his insulin? What the fuck? Okay.
Prometheus could not go unpunished.
He gave Prometheus diabetes?
Given his insolence. He imprisoned him on a rock in the Caucasus to endure eternal punishment for defying Zeus's decisions. But Prometheus's punishment wasn't simply life imprisonment. His torment would be terrible. Zeus decided that a dreadful bird would be responsible for devouring his liver, instigating immeasurable pain. Prometheus was an immortal titan. With that said, after being torn apart...
Oh, so he was quite literally, he was a titan that was immortal, and he just had to live life of his fucking liver being picked out.
By the odious bird,
just constant
his
pain.
liver regenerated, just to be attacked again by the animal.
I was gonna say, what if the animal just eats it all, but like, okay, so it just regens, and then the fucking animal gets it again? That's fucked.
The next day, the Titan endured this punishment throughout many and painful years. Then, Zeus came down to Earth and offered him freedom if he hid the knowledge of fire from man.
Why? Why would he... Why does Zeus not rate mankind? Did he just not want them to, like, potentially overthrow him?
As humanity's benefactor, Prometheus rejected the god's
Wait, our liver IRL can regen? Really?
offer and decided to sacrifice. Prometheus rejected the god's offer
my goat!
And decided to sacrifice himself for his creation. With that, humanity could prosper.
That's my
thanks
goat.
To Prometheus's martyrdom.
Could he not just take the fire away from them? He is quite literally a god. I don't see why Zeus couldn't just take the... Prometheus is actually the goat. To be fair, you guys said it was 19 years? If you've been putting up with 19 years of it, you just say, no, fuck you, man. Oh, he didn't want to be the one to blame.
At the beginning of time, the Titans Prometheus and Epimetheus were responsible for the creation of man.
Wait, what is Epimetheus doing?
To foster the development of his creation, Prometheus promised to steal the sacred fire from the gods and give it to humanity.
Oh, Oh, it wasn't that he just taught them. They just quite literally didn't have fire, and then he brought them fire. It's like, look, you can make fire.
The Titan knew that he would not go unpunished from such a crime. Sooner or later, he would be punished by the gods. He also knew that the fate of his brother and humanity was in danger, and he advised him, Epimetheus, my dear brother, my misfortune will not be enough to tackle Zeus's wrath. Regardless of what may happen,
don't think about it too much.
Don't ever accept any gifts from the gods.
Oh.
With that, our creation will be safe.
Yeah, that's fair. The gods are kind of dumb. If they're giving him a gift, it's probably to kill the humans.
Epimetheus welcomed the advice with gratitude and assured him that he would not accept any gift from the gods. Just as
Is this where Pandora's box comes in? Oh, that's fucking awesome.
Prometheus had predicted, Zeus devised a plan against Epimetheus and humanity. The supreme god ordered Hephaestus to nurture the first woman. The crafty god created the most graceful of creatures. She was introduced to the gods, who granted her different gifts. Aphrodite gave her an unparalleled beauty.
Oh, so it's not yet?
Granted her the power of the word.
Wait, hold on, where did this...
Prometheus would not accept any gift from the gods. Just as Prometheus had predicted, Zeus devised a plan against Epimetheus and humanity. The supreme god ordered Hephaestus to nurture the first woman. The crafty god created the most graceful of creatures.
So the girl was the gift from thingy?
She was introduced to the gods, who granted her different gifts. Aphrodite gave her an unparalleled beauty. Hermes granted her the power of the word. The Charites adorned her with clothes and jewels. Pandora turned into a magnificent creature.
Oh, wait, is that Pandora? Wait, is the girl Pandora?
Zeus ordered Hermes to deliver Pandora to Epimetheus as a gift.
Ooh.
But first...
Oh, so Zeus made Pandora. They all, like, you know, buffed the shit out of Pandora's base stats and then gave her.
He gave her a beautiful box, saying, "Take this gift from me and give it to men, but do not open it under any circumstances." Pandora...
I don't know, like, anything about Pandora's box. I just know that it's not meant to be opened, right? Like, when you open Pandora's box, that's where fucking everything goes wrong. I've just seen it in a lot of video games, like FNAF as an example.
Was then introduced to Epimetheus. He was so dazed by the youngster's unsurmountable beauty that he forgot his brother's advice
Fucking
never
idiot, man.
to accept any gift from the gods.
Fucking idiot.
Epimetheus put Pandora...
Dude, like, you fall out with the gods, right? They fucking, like, got your brother under torture for what he did. Like, daily torture. And you think you're just chill, and suddenly the gods go, here is a beautiful lady. Take her. You can marry her. It's a gift from me. Fucking moron, man. Why are people so stupid?
In a room of his palace.
It's because all of these fucking stories of, like, these Greek, like, mythology lessons hadn't been a thing. So, like, oh, this has never gone wrong before. Fuck's
She
sake.
stood there, admiring the beautiful box she had brought as a gift from the gods. Pandora
It's
wondered
not actually
what
a box. It's a pythos. I don't think I know how to spell it, but it's like a jug. Okay.
kind of gift could be inside, since the box itself was already
Everything bad existing was already let out. Instead, it swapped places with Hope, which is now locked into Okay. So, yeah. Technically, if you think about it, everything, like, as humans that we know from, like, hey, you should do this, hey, you shouldn't do this, is kind of from this, right?
stunning. She failed to resist her curiosity and decided to look inside.
To be fair, I would. I probably would too.
Pandora opened the box carefully.
Oh, Pandora opened the box. I thought someone else opened Pandora's box.
The naive young woman had no idea what was coming. A powerful pressure pushed Pandora away, and a black mist started to come out of the box. The mist contained all the evils that Prometheus had not nurtured in men. Until that moment.
Wait, so humans were like perfect and like he had made humans like perfect, and then now all of a sudden, boom, black smog comes out and gives them depression, anxiety, cancer. Is that what happened?
Man was pure and lived in the Golden Age. There were no needs and no conflicts.
Dude, this guy's fucked up as hell.
It was a world of pure happiness. But the box liberated all sorts of evils that would plague humanity. Envy,
yeah, that's true.
Cruelty, greed, disease.
So Pandora was probably... I assume Pandora was probably hated for this, assuming people knew that it was her that opened the box that caused this. Yeah, she's just... She was a tool more than anything. She was used as a tool by the gods.
And hunger were now part of the world of men. Pandora unsuccessfully attempted to close the box. The girl noticed that every evil had come out of the box, but hope was found at the bottom.
Oh.
Hope gives strength to man not to give up his life when facing evils and obstacles that afflict him.
That's cool.
With hope, Zeus managed to extend the punishment imposed on men indefinitely.
Oh. Is this done? No, we're 25 minutes in.
In the beginning of time, Zeus, the supreme god of Olympus, consolidated himself as the supreme lord of the universe. But before he had the goddess Hera as his queen, Zeus had had another wife. There was a goddess as beautiful as she was wise. Her name was Metis. She was the daughter of the Titan Ocean, who helped Zeus free his brothers from Cronus' stomach during the Titanomachy. Zeus was fascinated by the precious deity and wanted to take...
Warning you now, is this where the incest and shit starts? Is this where it starts?
Zeus was fascinated by the precious deity and wanted to take her as his wife, but the goddess resisted the god's approaches. Metis tried to escape from the god in every way, but Zeus was persistent. The goddess had the power of metamorphosis and could transform herself into anything.
Damn.
She used this power to escape Zeus. But Metis could not escape Zeus forever. The god set an ambush for the disguised goddess. The Lord of Thunder jumped on Metis and grabbed her. The goddess could not escape the god's strong arms and submitted to his will.
Yeah, wow. Zeus is not cool as shit. Zeus is a fucking... Wow. Zeus is like the worst god.
With the cunning goddess at his side, Zeus's reign seemed more prosperous. The god seemed able to tame all the chaos that had reigned in the world since primordial times. However,
Zeus is like the modern-day Andrew Tate. That is insane.
However, on a visit to Gaia, the primordial goddess who personifies the earth revealed a terrible omen. Gaia told Zeus that his wife would have 2 children. The first would be a girl who would equal the strength and wisdom of her father, but the second would be a boy who would become stronger than his father and take away his power. Zeus feared having the same outcome as his father, the Titan Cronus, or his grandfather, the god Uranus. Both had been dethroned by their sons.
Fuck you, man.
But, inspired by his father, Zeus devised a plan to prevent the omen from coming true.
What do you do, fucking eat him?
Zeus asked Metis to transform herself into a drop of water so she could give him a taste of her metamorphic power.
This is what... You could have said a couple, what you had to say a singular drop of water. I know what you can transform to. A drop of water.
The god swallowed his wife so that she could not give birth to the being that would dethrone Zeus.
So he, instead of eating the children, just ate the wife.
After swallowing his wife, Zeus incorporated the gifts of the goddess Metis. He became a much wiser, fairer, and less impulsive.
So he was like the first god to like absorb powers. Granted, because she could change to a fucking drop of water and is like, let me eat you as a drop of water so I can metamorphosize.
With God. But he didn't know that she was already pregnant.
And preg!
Time passed, and the powerful god began to feel headaches. He felt a horrible pain. His head seemed about to explode. Zeus asked for his head to be opened and the source of the pain to be removed. He couldn't withstand such pain. The Titan Prometheus struck the god on the head with an axe. A strong light began to emerge from the open crack in Zeus's head. A female figure surfaced on Zeus's head. From Zeus's forehead emerged the goddess Athena.
Hi, Athena.
With her armor and weapons fully grown. Zeus was proud to give birth to that formidable creature.
Do you guys like Athena? Be honest. Is Athena the goat?
With her mother's intelligence, Athena would become the goddess of wisdom. She was also considered the goddess of defensive warfare. Therefore, confrontations against Ares, the god of war, would be inevitable.
So Ares
Metis remained in Zeus's stomach, and the prophecy of the couple's second child was never fulfilled.
Oh, she's still in his fucking stomach? My goodness.
Athena proved to be a brave, pure, just, and wise goddess. She was considered the favorite daughter of Zeus, and was thought by many to be Zeus's legitimate successor.
Does he not only have one daughter? Am I missing something?
The Garden of the Hesperides was considered one of the most beautiful places on Earth. It was there that the beautiful goddess Hera lived before meeting Zeus.
Uh-oh.
The god of thunder fell in love with the goddess, but the goddess, knowing that Zeus had a reputation as a womanizer, rejected his approaches. But the great god didn't give up his new passion and made a plan to win her over. He took the form of a small bird known as...
Yeah? That's your strategy? Insane, Riz.
Cuckoo, and made a heavy rainfall. The goddess was sorry to see that little bird soaked in...
He fucking manipulated her and acted as like a fucking dying, like injured, like puppy. Fucking hell.
Cold. To comfort and warm it, Hera tucked it close to her body. Zeus, in the shape of a bird, took advantage of that situation to unite with the goddess.
Unite with the goddess? Fuck me.
After this union, Zeus and Hera decided to organize a grand wedding party where all deities were invited. Hermes was given the task of inviting all gods and minor deities to the divine wedding.
Oh my goodness, the divine wedding. Is that like... Is the divine wedding like a thing that's called to describe this one particular wedding? Because I've heard divine wedding before.
Guests started to arrive,
or is that
and
not
no deity had the audacity not to attend the wedding of the god of the universe. Only the nymph Calliope, known for her laziness, had not arrived. As Hermes was responsible for delivering the invitations, he feared being held
Yeah, but it was fucking Hermes, so he didn't deliver shit, am I right, chat?
responsible for the guest's absence. So the god tried to gauge what had happened.
Dude, how are you gonna name your company over a fucking Greek god, like, that his whole job is to deliver shit and you just dog shit?
Arrived at the
No, chat,
nymph's house.
There is a UK postal company called Hermes.
And searched for her. Hermes found the nymph asleep and wanted to know why she wasn't at the party.
Hermes isn't that bad, I don't think, actually.
The nymph answered that she was about to leave home and that he didn't need to worry. The god, feeling more at ease, returned quickly to the party.
Fucking it. No, I'm getting up. No, I'm awake. I'm getting up. I'll be there in 5. I just gotta get dressed.
Calliope decided to sleep only 5 more minutes.
Surely only 5 more minutes.
Later, she woke up and headed sluggishly to the party, one step slower than the other. Her laziness was colossal. At that moment, she preferred to be in bed.
Fair.
Halfway there, she began to meet the guests who were already returning from the party. So she decided to go home. because the party would probably be over.
Yeah.
And she didn't want to tire herself out pointlessly.
That's fair.
As Hermes predicted, he was eventually held responsible for the nymph's
Dude!
absence. Zeus and Hera did not believe Chelone could commit such an act of disrespect. Enraged by being found guilty, Hermes again decided to visit Chelone. Chelone was in one of her traditional napping moments, floating in the lagoon in front of her house.
Doesn't sound safe, I'll be honest.
Looking at that scenario, Hermes was furious. He lifted Chelone's house from the ground and decided to punish the indolent nymph. You hate to stay away from your much-treasured home, don't you? So from now on, you'll have to carry it wherever you want to go. The god threw the house over the nymph, which floated over the waters. After the impact, Chelone emerged with the appearance of a reptile.
Huh?
The nymph was punished. Now she would have to carry the house on her back, but her laziness and slowness did not change.
It's not that bad. She's pretty much the same, you know, just not human.
Hera, the queen of the Olympian gods, was finally pregnant with Zeus's child. Feeling excited, the goddess imagined how beautiful her son
Oh my
would
goodness, that's so like fucking... I don't know what this god's gonna be like, but I feel like we definitely have room on Area Unknown to have a... We gotta find out what this new child is called, but I feel like there is definitely room on Area Unknown for a character that is Hera's child, right?
be. Her expectations were enormous, as he would be the son of the king and queen of heaven. However, the child was not what she imagined. Upon seeing her son for the first time, she was horrified. He was a hairy baby with rugged features, soot-covered dark skin, becoming even uglier as he cried. The mad goddess said that
I know.
Is this what this is meant to be?
At all. I'm sure they did. I hope so.
Is this meant to be like that?
Me too. I need to get down from
Because that is Hera. Is that Hera?
though, and find
Or
out
is it
where.
not? Is it?
I know. Alright then. Let's get down. Okay. Come on. Okay.
Oh, wrong button.
Okay.
Wrong button.
You know, the sky was always so beautiful here. What are you doing? I'm letting go.
Was that any relation, or is it not? Is it? It seems kind of similar because it's just throwing off, but it's like, you know, it's a...
that he was not her son, and threw him into the ocean from the top of Olympus.
Yo, that's a far fall, because, like, if you guys have played the new Fortnite season, you know how far it is to fall from the top of Mount Olympus.
The little god crashed violently into the ocean waters, but survived. However, he was crippled and limped for the rest of his life.
Oh. Maybe not.
Hephaestus was rescued by the oceanside
No, chat, I can literally talk about Fortnite because it's a Greek mythology season.
Thetis, who quickly became attached to the child, unlike the goddess Hera.
Oh.
Thetis took him to the island of Lemnos, where he grew up playing with volcanoes.
Yeah.
From childhood, Hephaestus developed an unparalleled skill in the art of metallurgy.
Oh.
Using the heat of the volcanoes, he created the most powerful weapons and the most beautiful jewelry.
It's like the new Minecraft thing.
The god came of age and decided to return to Olympus.
What is this kid
He had
called again?
produced a beautiful golden throne for his true mother, the goddess Hera.
Why?
Upon seeing her strange son return, Hera felt chills run down her spine. But upon seeing the throne he brought with him, she quickly forgot her discomfort.
It's a trap.
She was pleased with the gift and was eager to try it on. The throne was divine, beautiful, and comfortable. However, as she tried to stand up, the goddess realized that she was bound to the throne, and no one seemed able to release her except Hephaestus, who knew the secret to freeing her.
Yeah?
But to free her, he demanded that his mother and the court of Olympus stop treating him with contempt and accept him back into Olympus.
Why would you want that? I feel like you wouldn't want that. They just you were an ugly baby, so they threw you off a mountain. You luckily survived, got raised, and you're like, yeah, you're now trapped in this chair that I built. If you accept me, though, like...
Ashamed, the goddess accepted the demand and was freed, and began to treat him with due respect. Finally, Hephaestus made one last request, which shocked everyone present.
Oh?
He asked for permission to marry Aphrodite, the most beautiful of the goddesses.
Oh, wow.
Zeus realized that, because of her enormous beauty, Aphrodite aroused
enormous beauty is such a funny sentence to me.
Passions among the beings of Olympus.
Her enormous beauty.
Conflicts would emerge sooner or later. Therefore, even without consulting Aphrodite...
Wait, so who is... where did Aphrodite come from? Aphrodite is god of, like, love, right? Or something?
Aphrodite, Zeus forced her to marry Hephaestus to avoid future conflicts. The young Hephaestus came to be respected as a great deity.
Love and beauty.
The god was a magnificent blacksmith. Among his greatest works were the sandals of Hermes, the armor of Achilles, and the bow and arrow of Eros. He was a divine artist. High on Olympus, the goddess Hera was furious. She had just discovered that the goddess Leto was pregnant by her husband Zeus.
Oh.
Furious, the
Oh, okay. So, Zeus...
goddess forbade Leto to give birth anywhere with solid ground. No land sheltered the pregnant goddess. She wandered a long time without any destination, feeling the pains of childbirth.
Yeah, I'll fix it.
Suddenly, she found the floating island of Delos. This island, not being connected to the earth, was not covered by the ban of the Queen of the Gods.
Is that the person?
Leto was able to give birth there. To her surprise, she did not give birth to only one child, but two. First, Artemis was born, and then Apollo.
Are these gods or demigods? I'm not sure if she's a god or not.
Apollo was beautiful and blonde, the perfect representation of the sun. Artemis had white skin and black hair, resembling the moon.
Okay.
The black hair symbolized the night around her. After learning of the birth of Leto's children, the goddess Hera went berserk and decided to send the serpent Python to chase and devour the newborns.
Why would you not be mad at him? What are you mad at her for? Be mad at him.
The goddess Leto wandered the world, fleeing from the serpent that chased mother and children, aiming to devour them. Once, she and her baby children were thirsty and found a small pond. On the bank were rude peasants, who violently forbade the goddess and her children to drink water. To stop her, the peasants stirred the bottom of the pond with their feet, so that the mud mixed with the water, preventing it from being drunk. Consumed by rage, Leto turned the peasants into frogs, forcing them to spend the rest of their lives shrieking around the pond.
Fucking idiots.
The little gods grew up, and Zeus offered them very powerful bows.
Wait, so Zeus rates these kids? I thought Zeus would also be in the mud and he wouldn't have any contact with these kids.
Made especially for them by Hephaestus. Artemis fell in love with the offer and began to dedicate her life to hunting. She became goddess of the hunt. Okay. Apollo, with the powerful bow in his hands, could only think of one thing: to take revenge on the serpent that tormented his mother for so long.
Shit. That's
Zeus
cool.
told his son where the beast's lair was, and he headed there to kill it. The beast was in a cave at the foot of Mount Parnassus, where it hibernated, as nothing threatened it. Apollo instigated the serpent to come out of hiding by shooting incandescent arrows into the cave. Python came out of the lair,
just on fire,
thirsty for blood, and wanting to devour its opponent. Apollo fired successive arrows at the monster, but they bounced off the hard scales that protected the snake. The god looked for a weak spot in the beast, while dodging its dangerous blows. Confident, the young man shot 2 arrows at once. One hit the python's eye, and the other hit the beast's chest, which was covered by thinner scales. The heart had been wounded, and the beast was roaring in pain.
Awkward.
Apollo shot one last arrow, which entered the beast's mouth and killed it.
Damn.
Python died, and over its dead body, Apollo decreed that a sacred temple would be built there in its honor. This place became the Oracle of Delphi, where priestesses known as Pythonesses made the most and killed it. Python died, and over its dead body, Apollo decreed that a sacred temple would be built there in its honor. This place became the Oracle of Delphi, where priestesses known as Pythonesses made the most diverse.
Hold on, my chat's been broken. Ugh. It's still doing the thing. How long has it been broken for? Hold on, let me catch up. Oh, it's been broken for a while. From when the chat was broken on screen. Ugh. Ugh. I got Chat Arena open now. That's fine.
Prophecies.
Okay. This could be a Fortnite loading screen. This could be... The chat was still working, though.
In ancient
I
Greece,
did wonder,
there was a region that is now known as Attica. There, Cecrops reigned, a being who was born of his own land, and had a serpent's tail and a man's trunk. Under his rule, the city of Cecrops flourished.
Whoa, a man's trunk? They don't... Do they...
Cecrops reigned, a being who was born of his own land, and had a serpent's tail and a man's trunk. Under his rule, the city of Cecrops flourished. This city was surrounded by the seas. Fishing was essential in this society, as much of the people's food was taken from the sea.
Need to clip my back, man.
Due to its dependence on the sea, the cult of Poseidon was strong in the region. The god of the seas wanted a city that would glorify him, and for this reason, he went to Cecropia. People of Cecropia, consecrate this city to the Lord of the Seas, and you will have the ocean as your backyard. Your people will overtake all others while you are on the seas. Change the name of the city to Poseidonia, and you will receive my blessings.
That doesn't, like, that's such an ego play, man. He's like, yeah, you can just, you know, you can fucking have the ocean with me if you just rename your city. Why would they say no? Like, that's a win-win for them. Like...
The god hit the ground with his trident, and a fountain of salt water began to gush forth. This is my gift to you. Before you leave for the sea, kneel before the fountain, and it will tell you if it is safe to sail. Suddenly, a strong flash interrupted Poseidon. In the middle of the light, there was the silhouette of a female figure.
Oh, shit.
It was Athena,
oh, shit.
goddess of wisdom and strategic warfare. The goddess also wanted to be the patroness of the city. The goddess addressed the crowd, who were already surprised by Poseidon's visit, and who now felt perplexed before such a majestic deity.
Wait, hold on, just making sure I do remember this right. I'm 99% certain I do. She's Zeus's daughter, right? I'm 99% certain that was right, but just check.
Citizens of Attica, if you choose me as the protector of the city, beauty and wisdom will bear fruit in that city. The arts and sciences will develop like nowhere else in the world. The goddess struck her spear to the ground.
Is this what it's like to be on Shark Tank?
The beautiful olive tree was born in the hole.
Ooh.
This is my gift. I know how arid the earth is around you, but the fruits of this plant may be your food.
Oh.
Besides, you can use its oil to ward off the darkness and warm your homes.
Huh.
The people were
That's a better deal, I think.
Amazed at the gift. Cecrops, fearing to infuriate the eventually overlooked god, thought that the population of the city should decide what god to honor. The men lived from the sea, and all of them voted for Poseidon.
Oh.
The women, on the other hand, who lived from the land, thought that the gifts of Athena were superior.
And then the patriarchy was made.
Since there were more women than men in the city,
W?
Athena won.
Let's go.
Poseidon was furious and did not accept the decision of the crowd.
What?
There is only one honorable way to decide. Grab your weapons and fight me. Poseidon was one of the most powerful gods.
Yeah, but
he
so
believed
is
Athena
she,
was
no?
no match for him.
Oh, he doesn't know. Does he know who Athena is, do you reckon, or?
But the brave goddess had no fear and prepared for the clash. The battle between the gods began, and they measured forces.
Because she's strong
The
as
dispute
shit.
was interrupted by a bolt of Zeus.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
This dispute will be discussed at the Council of the Gods of Olympus, where the fate of the city will be decided.
Okay.
On Mount Olympus, the gods met to settle the dispute between Athena and Poseidon. Zeus was the head of the meeting and allowed the other gods to decide on the subject. All the male gods voted for Poseidon, and all the goddesses voted for Athena. As chairman of the board, Zeus abstained, and Athena was the winner by only one vote of difference.
Let's go.
And so the ancient city of Cecropia came to be known as Athens. In honor of the goddess, a
Lathens?
beautiful
That was
temple
an Edda.
came to be known as Athens.
Athens?
In honor of the goddess,
Did
a
he get the
beautiful
wrong name?
temple was
Is it
built on
Athens?
top of the Acropolis in her honor.
Cool.
However, Poseidon's fury made life difficult for the Athenians. They were no longer welcome at sea. The concerned population went to the Oracle of Delphi. The Pythia told them that Poseidon's fury would only be diminished if Athena's women were
just
punished.
subscribed with Prime.
Thank you
To
for the
reconcile
just
with the
don't
gods,
Oh my
care
goodness.
all the Athenian
David, 23 months one. My goodness.
women lost the right to vote. To seal the peace between Athena and Poseidon, a beautiful temple was built in honor of the god at Cape Sunion. The god was magnanimous and forgave the people of Athena, allowing the city to keep the gift given by the god. Thus, in Greece, a city emerged that would stand out from the rest. It took thousands of years for Athenian women to recover their right to vote. The seawater surrounding the island of Cyprus was getting milder, seemingly ready for the beautiful scene about to happen.
Oh?
From the water, the one to be deemed the most beautiful of all goddesses started
Demigod
to
Live just
Fucking
subscribed
scared
with
the
Prime.
shit out of me for half a second. You demigod with the prime as well. Chat, hype train? One away from a hype train?
emerge.
Surely, right?
Aphrodite, the goddess of beauty and love, daughter of Uranus, the god who had once reigned over the world,
I'm immature.
materialized upon a shell. After arriving at
Oh, Aphrodite's the one that's the Fortnite skin that's kind of fine. So the Fortnite skin had to be fine. Like, legally.
Mount Olympus, she was under the spotlight. The gods were delighted with the new arrival, who brightened the splendid abode of the gods even more. Zeus noticed that such beauty would be the source of quarrels and disharmony. After all, Aphrodite awakened lustful feelings and pure envy in the gods. To avoid chaos, Zeus decided to unite Aphrodite, the most beautiful goddess, with Hephaestus, a rustic-looking god.
Wait, Hephaestus.
Aphrodite.
Which one was Hephaestus again? We just spoke about Hephaestus. Who is Hephaestus again? I forgot. The ugly kid? I thought so. Okay.
Submitted herself to the desire of the ultimate god and united with the god of the forges. Despite his brutish appearance, Hephaestus was endearing to
Fucking
his
hell.
wife. Using his talents, he made and covered his wife with the most beautiful jewels.
Is Hephaestus chill?
However, the
Oh.
blacksmith god was always
Oh.
absent, as he spent great lengths of time working in his
Oh.
forge in the Etna volcano.
He was a workaholic.
In the meantime, the goddess of love struggled with loneliness. There was another god, known as
Yeah.
Ares, the god of war, with a poor reputation.
Thought this is where this was
His
going.
unrestrained bursts of violence and thirst for blood turned him into a much feared individual by mortals, while also being repudiated by the gods. Even Zeus, his father, had no sympathy for the god of war. He picked Athena, goddess of wisdom and strategic warfare, as his favorite. But one goddess failed to resist the reckless approach and bad boy manners of the god of war. Her name was Aphrodite. Eris had a perfect athletic build and was stunningly beautiful. In Aphrodite's eyes, this contrasted with the god Hephaestus, a rough-looking and crippled deity, after he fell from Olympus when he was just a baby. Aphrodite was tired of being that lonely. It was when the fiery goddess of love heard the arrival of Ares, who had returned from yet another one of his wars. Staring at that beautiful, blood-drenched god, she got goosebumps, and she promptly offered herself to clean all that blood. Ares felt surprised. For a long time, not a single resident of Olympus showed him the slightest courtesy. The insinuating Aphrodite started her seduction ritual. Poor Ares
A seduction ritual?
didn't stand a chance against the powers of love. Hidden, the gods went through a night of fiery love, and
just gonna quickly go to my camera.
From that day on, whenever Hephaestus went to work, Ares visited Aphrodite on her marriage bed. To avoid being spotted by Helios, the personification of the sun and the #1 gossiper among deities, Ares ordered Electryon to guard the door of Aphrodite's room,
Crazy.
warning him if the sun ever came by. Hypnos, the
Hey, it's me, the sun! What you doing? You just hanging out? How long you been? Why don't I ever see you here when he's here too? No? It's always just you two. What?
the god of sleep, had already noticed that something odd was happening
Welcome in,
between
we're
the couple,
reacting... Well,
but he didn't want to be known as a snitch. The god of sleep then hit Electryon with an overwhelming need to sleep. He fell asleep and did not see the sun approaching.
They didn't think about that one, yeah. Yeah, what if he got the, the god of the fucking sun to come in? Thank you, Quackity Supremacy, for the follow,
After waking up, Ares noticed that it was day already. The couple had surely been spotted by the sun. Enraged with Electryon, Ares decides to punish the negligent watchman, turning him into a rooster. From that day on, Electryon never stopped shouting just before the sun came up. The god Helios told him,
That's fucking awesome! That's awesome! They said, oh, for fuck's sake, you fell asleep. So now every time the sun comes up, this fucking chicken... That's awesome. That is the best thing yet. I fucking love that. That's so funny. Why is my Chatterino not resizing right? There we go.
Festus everything he saw. He refused to believe in his wife's
Oh, that's cool. So Aphrodite appears to be the most beautiful woman in the world to everyone, so she looks different to everyone. That's awesome.
betrayal, but decided to set a trap just in case. My beloved wife, I have a major job to do, and I will be gone for a week. As soon as Hephaestus went on his way, Ares jumped to the wife's bed. But this time, the adulterous couple would not get away with it. The god of forges had weaved a net so fine that it looked invisible, having put it on the bed. Right when the gods were doing it, the net fell on the couple, imprisoning them.
Oh!
The cuckold god called the other deities to witness the shameful...
Whoa! Whoa! Guys, just caught the wife shagging someone. Come check this out.
Scene. Look at these traitors, caught in such a disgraceful situation. They can never leave my powerful net. They will remain imprisoned as punishment. Hermes looked at Apollo and said, apparently Ares decided to devote himself to a different sort of battle. A more hand-to-hand thing, so to speak. Of all the punishments ever devised by the gods being...
Wait. Oh my goodness, I just realized something. Chat, you know the newspaper The Sun? And how it's a tabloid. Is it called The Sun because of fucking Greek mythology? It has to be, right?
United with Aphrodite certainly must be unbearable. Poor Ares. All the gods started to laugh. Ashamed and humiliated, Hephaestus decided to repudiate his wife. From the union of Ares and Aphrodite were born Deimos, Phobos, and the beautiful Harmonia.
is a daily paper. I think.
The Greek world was full of musicians and poets
So
who
some
sang
still a
the
thing.
deeds
Like, do
of
they still
gods
print
and
newspapers?
heroes, but none of them could compare to Orpheus. He was the son of the muse Calliope and the god Apollo. From his mother, he inherited an unsurpassed melodious voice, and from his father, a talent for writing outstanding music. When he played his lyre offered by Apollo, the animals would calm down and stop to listen to him, and even the plants would swing to the music's rhythm. But Orpheus was not only a virtuous artist, he was also endowed with great courage. The young man was part of the Jason crew in his quest for the Golden Fleece. Thanks to Orpheus, the Argonauts escaped the seductive siren song, since the hero managed to muffle the deadly melody of sea creatures with his own music.
Ooh, that's
After
cool.
returning from the adventure, Orpheus met the beautiful Eurydice, falling in love. Eurydice was the biggest fan of Orpheus's songs. The young lady's passion for the songs often made him jealous of his own compositions. During the couple's marriage, dark omens pointed to a turbulent future. But nevertheless, the couple decided to live out their days as best they could. One day, while Eurydice was walking through the fields, she was spotted by Aristaeus, the beekeeper. The young woman ran away from the man who wanted to rape her.
Twitch Prime!
But she
Wow.
Prince
encountered
Cass
her
PE and
sad-
Jess subscribed with Prime.
Thank you,
It
Prince
would've been
Gatsby, with the
longer, but I've
pride
been
for 2
broke and
months.
busy.
You are fine, don't worry. Welcome back, though. Can we get a welcome back to the from the chatters, please?
Fate. In her escape through the grass, the unfortunate girl was stung by a snake. Eurydice failed to take many steps and fell to the ground. Upon hearing the news, Orpheus ran to meet his beloved. The young woman died in the arms of her lover before departing for the kingdom of Hades. With her beloved's body in his arms and making use of his powerful voice, Orpheus cried out the saddest lamentation of all. The happiness in his songs disappeared, and from that day on, only
so
dismal
sad.
and melancholic sounds came out of his lyre. The unhappy Orpheus turned to Zeus,
That's so
the supreme
sad.
Olympian god, asking him to bring his beloved wife back to life. Zeus said he could not interfere in the affairs of his brother Hades, but Orpheus could go to the world of the dead to converse with the god of the underworld, with Hermes by his side. Along with the messenger god, Orpheus descended to the world of the dead.
This is so sad.
With his melodious verses, the young man softened the heart of the boatman Charon, who agreed to make his crossing over the river of the dead. At the gates of the underworld was Cerberus, Hades' three-headed dog, responsible for stopping intruders from entering his master's domain. Orpheus played his lyre and
Harry Potter.
sang him a quiet song that made the dog fall asleep. Hades and his wife Persephone were surprised by Orpheus's presence in their domains. Enraged, the gods said, "How dare you invade my domains, mortal creature? You shall tell me your motivation, or you will suffer in Tartarus
Well, that's like his whole
for
point of
all
coming here.
eternity.
That was like the whole point.
I'm begging you to allow me to return to the world of the living with my beloved Eurydice." Orpheus sang a sad song, and the boy's pain was tremendously felt by all. While Orpheus played his lyre, the world of the dead stopped to listen to him. Sisyphus stopped rolling his stone, and for a moment, the Furies forgot to punish sinners and thieves. Everyone was stunned by Orpheus. Hades was moved by Orpheus's
Wow.
music to the point of shedding an iron tear. Queen Persephone interceded for Orpheus, and Hades asked for Eurydice to be brought to their presence.
Oh, yeah.
The couple's reunion
Aww.
moved everyone.
Aww.
That's when Hades spoke. "You two are free to go, but you must go ahead, and Eurydice will go right behind you, and under no circumstances can you look back. Otherwise, you will lose her again."
Okay.
A dark path emerged from the underground to the
Dude,
surface.
what is it with these Greek gods and just giving, like, really weird, like, criteria for shit? You can go and you can take her back home, just don't look behind you.
And the couple set out for the world of the living. Orpheus walked all the way back, feeling concerned, because he was not sure if Eurydice could keep up with him. When he was almost at the end of the tunnel, and the sunlight was already hitting his eyes, Orpheus couldn't contain himself and looked back to make sure his beloved was there. But at that very same instant, Eurydice was pulled back into the world of the dead. Orpheus still attempted to hold his beloved's hand, but it was too late. Orpheus was desperate and wanted to return to the underworld, but Hermes stopped him. The desolate Orpheus sank into a terrible depression, and his music never rejoiced again. Sometime later, he was found by a group of Bacchantes, the Dionysus's priestesses, who wished to sleep with the young man, but he could only play and sing his sad songs. Enraged, the Bacchantes threw stones at Orpheus, but the power of his music dodged them. The Bacchantes decided to muffle the music with bells, screams, and drums. No longer protected by the music, Orpheus was killed and pierced by the Bacchantes. His remains, along with his lyre, were thrown into the river. The dismayed muses picked his divine lyre and honored him by turning it into a constellation.
Dude, that was so
Despite
fucking
his sad
sad.
end, Orpheus's spirit was free to meet his beloved Eurydice in
Aww.
the Champs-Élysées.
That's so fucking
In the
sad.
distant kingdom of Phrygia, the god Dionysus
I guess
could not find
It technically had a happier ending, but damn, man.
Silenus, his faithful drinking companion. He was also the god's master and foster parent. Silenus was considered a sage who delivered his best lessons
They are
when
both
drunk
dead,
while acquiring the power of prophecy. The wise old man was found passed out by peasants in the forest after suffering an alcoholic coma. They took him to
Awesome.
King Midas, who recognized and welcomed him immediately with full hospitality.
Isn't Midas the guy that like turns shit to gold?
There were days of drinking and feasting in honor of the illustrious guest.
Like anything he touches.
The god Dionysus was pleased to find his old companion so well treated by his
Hey guys, you know that's in Fortnite.
host. He greeted King Midas and, as a sign of gratitude for the good deed,
Wait, was it a curse? Was it a curse or was he a god?
agreed to
It's a
fulfill
curse, right?
any of Midas's wishes. The ambitious Midas did not reflect deeply on the matter and quickly chose his wish. I want everything I touch to turn into gold. Are you sure? Yes, of course. I will be the richest man who ever lived. Dionysus fulfilled his wish, but felt sorry for Midas that he didn't make a better choice. Midas, eager to test his new talent, picked up a small stone that lay on the ground, and
Yeah,
it immediately turned into a gold nugget. Euphoric, Midas touched several things, and all of them immediately displayed the golden color of gold. Midas suddenly felt hungry and decided to eat an apple. As he touched the fruit, it turned into a copy of the golden palms
Yeah, but that's fine because it gives you extra hearts of absorption. Like, it's still the same.
in the gardens of the Hesperides. The shrewd Midas tried a new approach. He took a fork, which soon turned golden, and stuck it into a piece of bread.
Oh, so that works.
The king brought the fork to his mouth,
Oh,
and as he
never mind.
tried to bite into it, he felt his tooth crack, as the bread had also turned gold.
Would that crack your
The
teeth
king-
on? Isn't gold meant to be, like, really malleable?
He realized that what he thought was a gift was now a curse. Midas felt that his end was inevitable.
Wait, that's
since
true. Yeah, he didn't even think about that. That would ruin the economy.
he would quickly die without
Wouldn't be
food,
worth shit.
and he collapsed in tears on the dining table. The king's daughter arrived at the palace and saw her father weeping on the table.
Oh, no.
Attempting to console
Oh,
him,
no.
she touched her father's hand. Midas looked in horror at his daughter, who had turned into a statue of gold. In desperation, he knelt and asked the god Dionysus to remove that nefarious power. The god took pity on Midas, as he had no intention of harming Midas and his daughter. Dionysus
funny.
asked the king to plunge into the waters of the river Pactolus, and, already in the water, to ask that the power of his touch be removed. Midas bathed in the waters, and the riverbed became covered with a golden sand, and the scales of the fish also began to glitter like gold. The king was finally free of the curse. Everything he touched returned to normal, including his daughter.
So I guess it's just
After
like,
this trauma,
don't be fucking greedy.
Midas repudiated all wealth and left in the company of Pan to live simply and humbly in the fields and forests.
Cute story.
Gaia, the Earth Mother, still felt a lot of resentment against the Olympian gods, as they had imprisoned the Titans in Tartarus.
That's like the only thing that has a happy ending. Yeah, I kind of imagined, to be honest.
The Earth Mother generated a powerful offspring from the blood spilled by Uranus after his castration. These extremely strong beings became known as the Giants. They constituted an army of 24 giants, whose sole purpose was to dethrone the gods of Mount Olympus. The Olympian gods banded together to face these formidable...
Oh my goodness, are we gonna have a Fortnite event where we have the battle, like the 10-year battle?
...enemies. They fought to defend the new cosmic order
this,
and
actually. I think
prevent
this
the
is the
world
new
from
version.
returning to chaos. The struggle between gods and giants began, but the gods seemed powerless, for even their most powerful blows were unable to defeat the giants. The goddess Hera prophesied that there would be only one way to defeat the giants. To her dismay, the prophecy said that the gods could only win with the help of a powerful mortal dressed in lion skin. There was only one man on Earth who fit that description. His name was Hercules.
Oh.
Zeus ordered Athena to look for Hercules so that he could join
also,
the
I thought she was trapped under thingy, or did they free her from the net?
Olympian gods. The mighty giants continued to be unbeatable if they were in contact with the land where they had been born, near Thrace, and they began to pile up great stones, trying to reach the heavenly abode. But while the giants were concentrating on defending their building, they were surprised by a terrifying roar.
Uh-oh.
They fled without looking back, but they didn't know that it was only the howls of Silenus' donkey, who was bringing his pupil Dionysus to join the battle. With the reckless courage that only a totally inebriated individual has, Silenus chased after the giants mounted on his distinguished animal. He felt like a paladin on a white horse. Realizing they had been tricked, the giants reorganized and returned to the fight.
Hera and... Oh, wait, no, it wasn't Hera. Never mind, I'm getting confused. Hera was never trapped. I was getting confused with Aphrodite and Ares.
But the time gained by Silenus was crucial for the arrival of the hero Hercules. Hercules shot down a giant with one of his arrows.
Damn.
But as it fell to the ground, the earth gave the giant new life. The gods realized that they would have to lure the giants out of their homeland, for only then could they defeat them. The mighty Hercules gave a giant a bear hug and took him to another territory, where he exterminated him with his club.
Wow.
The giant Porphyrion tried to attack the goddess Hera, but was hit by an arrow from Eros. Despite his injury, the giant continued his attack, but now with purely lustful desires. Jealous, Zeus struck the creature with one of his most powerful thunderbolts. Meanwhile, the god Ares
Wait,
fought...
so I'm just make sure I'm remembering this right. Zeus is married to Ares, correct? Sorry, no, fucking hell. Zeus is married to Hera.
Bravely against the giants, but ended up on his knees. However, he was saved by Apollo and Hercules, who, with their bows, shot down another giant. The gods weakened the giants, preparing them for Hercules to deliver the final blow, and the giants fell one after the other.
Damn.
Dionysus brought down the giants with Tharsis blows,
that's true.
while Hecate immolated them with her torches. Athena threw a huge rock at the giant Enceladus, who tried to flee across the sea. This huge rock became the island of Sicily in the Italian peninsula. Hades also participated in the battle, using his fork, and lent Hermes the helmet of invisibility. The latter, now invisible, ran at high speed through the giants, striking blows with his caduceus. Finally, Zeus paraded triumphantly in his chariot over the corpses of the fallen giants, having at his side Nike, the goddess of victory. The warrior Hercules received great tributes. Without him, the giants would have thrown the universe back into chaos.
So Hercules
Within
is
the
just a
Phoenician
guy, right?
kingdom
Not
of Tyre, there was a
mortal.
beautiful princess. Her name was Europa.
Hi, Europa.
She was the child of King Agenor, a descendant of the highest Egyptian nobility. The king bestowed upon his beautiful daughter a majestic
demigod.
dress.
Oh wait, wait, whose son is he? Wait, Hercules is whose son? Zeus isn't someone's? Question mark. Oh, is it one of the people that Zeus fucked? Zeus fucked a human, then Hercules? Question mark.
It used to belong to her mother, the nymph Libya, who received it as a gift from her lover Poseidon. The young girl glowed with splendor as she wore the dress made by the gods, so much so that her beauty attracted the attention of Zeus on Olympus.
That's great.
During the night, the princess experienced a strange dream.
That's fair.
Two divine women were fighting. One had Eastern features, the other looked Western. The winner would get the ownership of Europa. The West-looking woman came out the winner. She addressed the young Europa and said that one day she would be whisked away to a distant land, where she would be delivered to Zeus.
Oh.
Europa awoke frightened, although wondering if what had happened was just a nightmare or a legitimate prophecy. In the morning, the princess went for a walk by the sea with her friends, unaware that Zeus, brimming with lust, was watching them. Zeus converted into a beautiful white bull and decided to approach
Zeus,
the
man.
girls. They quickly noticed the superb animal and approached him. The white bull seemed gentle and exuded a sweet aroma. Europa and her friends began to caress its soft hide and marveled at such a beautiful bull. One of the young girls decided to ride on the animal, but the dashing Princess Europa was quicker. With the help of her friends, she rode on the bull.
Yeah, and
The
ran
bull-shaped
away.
Zeus slowly led the princess down the beach, while the young women were overjoyed and delighted.
Yep.
One of her friends mentioned that she also wanted to ride the animal.
Hey, give it the follow, Scooby Snacks.
Zeus hastened his step towards the sea waters. The bull and the young girl walked into the water. The animal swam splendidly and appeared to surf the waves. Europa was elated by the experience, but suddenly realized that the bull was leading her into the open sea. Frightened, she grabbed onto the animal, fearing she would drown. They both sailed through the blue sea for a long time.
He's taking it to Europe.
It was nightfall, and finally the bull led the young girl to dry land and then left her. The young girl was afraid, as she did not know
Fucking
her
hell.
whereabouts. Europa was hopelessly considering taking her own life. Then, the beautiful woman she had met in her dream appeared. She was the goddess Aphrodite, who said that during the princess's dream, she had earned the right to the presence of such a beautiful young woman in the West. The girl just wanted to know why she was there. The goddess of love told her that she had been kidnapped by a bovine Zeus. She didn't have to worry, for he would devote much love to the princess and planned great honors for her future offspring. Zeus then appeared and introduced himself to the young woman. He said that they were in Crete, the land where the great god had been born. However, from that day on, the island would belong to Europa's descendants with the god. Rhadamanthus and Minos, the future legendary king of Crete, were born from the union of Zeus and Europa. Europa became immortalized, as now all the lands of that distant region would be known by her name. Minos was sovereignly reigning over the island of Crete, a descendant of a rather
Hour? We're halfway through and we're 2 hours into the stream?
lineage. He was the son of the princess
say, I
Europa
assumed
with
this was.
Zeus, the lord of Olympus. The god turned himself into a white bull and succeeded in kidnapping the maiden and taking her to the island of Crete. The couple had 3 sons, Minos, Rhadamanthus, and Sarpedon, who would inherit the island of Crete. Minos succeeded in overruling his brothers and took the crown of the island of Crete for himself alone.
Oh.
The island was situated on a strategic route in the Mediterranean, which yielded great profits for the kingdom from trade with various nations. King Minos used his vast accumulated wealth to build the great palace of Knossos. To build his splendid palace, he got help from a brilliant Athenian architect and inventor known as Daedalus. Notwithstanding his kingdom's tremendous development during his reign, Minos was still a disputed king. To solidify his power, Minos asked the gods for help. The king requested the god Poseidon to send him a bull for sacrifice in honor of the god of the seas, to show that the gods were on his side. Poseidon granted the king's request and raised from the sea a magnificent white bull, as beautiful as the one Zeus had transformed himself into to abduct Europa. Minos was astonished by the animal's size and decided to stop it from being sacrificed by adding it to his herd as a breeding bull,
thus
not a bad
establishing
idea. A breed of superior cattle.
It's a good idea.
The king chose to sacrifice an ordinary bull from his herd instead of the one that Poseidon offered him.
Oh.
This angered the god of the seas,
Yeah.
who had granted that animal to be sacrificed for his own glory.
Yeah.
Poseidon could not allow such disregard for the gods to go unpunished.
He's angry again.
The god made the bull he had gifted become an angry and indomitable animal.
Oh shit.
It caused damage to the kingdom of Minos and frightened the population. But his revenge was not yet complete. With Aphrodite's help, Poseidon
you've
arranged...
got a point. Yeah, you've got a point. Hades is literally the god of the fucking underworld, but he's the nicest one. The only thing we've learned about Hades so far is that he potentially, he you know, had emotion and gave back his, like, partner, that one guy's partner, but then he, you know, like Hades Loki, yeah,
for
Hades Loki chill as
Pasiphae,
fuck.
queen and wife of Minos, to fall in love with the bull. The queen tried to draw closer to the beautiful bull, who rejected Pasiphae's approach. Enraptured by her passion for the animal, she asked Daedalus to help her seduce the great bull.
Oh my goodness.
The ingenious inventor came up with an unusual idea.
Really?
He created a replica of a cow made of leather and wood, with a chamber where Pasiphae would be housed. This way, the queen managed to achieve her union with the Minos bull.
What the fuck?
The Minotaur, a creature half man and half bull, was born from this loathsome union.
Fucking hell.
The birth of the hideous beast caused great shame to King Minos. As the Minotaur grew, his bestial and violent nature was no longer manageable. Minos ordered Daedalus to erect a huge labyrinth where the fearsome Minotaur would be imprisoned. This labyrinth became the dwelling place of one of the most heinous creatures of Greek mythology that was fed with human sacrifices.
Oh.
But the terror sparked by the Minos monster would find its demise when confronted by a tremendous opponent named Theseus. Demeter, the Greek goddess of agriculture, traveled the world to...
Are we going on to a different story? We're not going to continue the Minotaur story? Is this like timelined or something?
Rituals in honor of the goddess took place in the woods dedicated to her. But in one of these rituals, while the devotees made offerings in the woods to honor the goddess provider, the ceremony was interrupted by the cries of a group of rude woodcutters. Leave this forest immediately. I want that wood for my new palace. Erysichthon, a rich and powerful nobleman of the region, was famous for not respecting the will of the gods, and he started cutting down the forest consecrated to Demeter. The greedy nobleman was amazed at the beauty of the consecrated oak. Knock down that oak, then use the wood to build the most beautiful furniture. The woodcutters hesitated.
Okay.
It was believed that the dryads lived inside the sacred oaks. They were the nymphs of the forest protected by Demeter.
Okay.
Give me that axe now. When Erysichthon struck the tree with his sharp axe, blood flowed from the open crevice. Hidden by a hood, a mysterious figure tried to peacefully prevent that barbarity. How dare you bring down a forest dedicated to Demeter? No one else will touch these trees, under penalty of suffering a terrible punishment. This forest is on my land, and I will do as I please.
Fucking idiot.
The tree cut down took the form of a nymph, lying dead on the ground.
Fucking idiot, man.
Behind that hood was not an ordinary woman, but the goddess Demeter, who revealed herself with all her fury. You dared to destroy, kill, and desecrate that which belonged to the gods. So, you will pay for your crime in an exemplary manner. Terrified, Erysichthon and his servants ran away in a panic.
Yeah.
But they became the target of the goddess's
They
curse.
became the target?
The nobleman arrived at his palace, breathless after a long run. Still, he was happy to have escaped unharmed from the goddess's fury. After the escape, Eerie Sicthan was hungry and asked the servants to serve him his meal. At the table, the nobleman attacked the roast chicken as if he had never eaten in his life. After devouring a whole chicken, he ate the remaining food on the table.
Something tells me he's not getting away.
I want more. Bring me more food. The butcher brought a whole piglet. As soon as he approached the table, the lord grabbed the little pig. Tired, Eerie Sicthan went to his room holding the little piglet leg.
His son tells me
but
he's not.
Something sinister seemed to be chasing him.
Oh?
While he was sleeping, he received a visit from the demon that personifies hunger. The sinister being attacked Eerie Sicthan's stomach, making him feel an endless hunger. The nobleman awoke frightened, feeling an unprecedented hunger. Eerie Sicthan demanded a great feast to appease his hunger, and his servants gave him all the food available. But his hunger was not lessening, and at every dish he devoured, he said,
watermelons.
I want more! Eerie Sicthan
I like when this guy
devoured all
randomly does the voice acting. It makes me giggle.
his flock, and his fortune diminished with the purchase of more and more food. The process continued for several days. Eerie Sicthan lost his entire fortune. I want more! The one who had once been one of the richest nobles in the region was now begging in the streets for food.
Too greedy.
His beloved daughter found her father in the streets and tried to help him. But, driven mad by hunger, he sold his only daughter as a slave so he could buy more food.
Fucking hell.
In captivity, Eerie Sicthan's daughter prayed to Poseidon to get away. The god turned the young woman into a donkey, and in disguise, she managed to escape. The daughter met her poor father again, ruined and hungry. The kind girl, in her equine form, believed she could help her father.
No way.
Eerie Sicthan, in tears, recognized his daughter's loving look on that donkey, and crying, caressed the animal's face and said, I'm sorry, daughter of mine, but I want more. Poseidon felt sorry for the fate of that kind young woman and turned her into a butterfly. Free, she flew away and never met her father again.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Without any income and starving, Eerie Sicthan returned to the sacred forest of Demeter, where everything had begun. He prayed for forgiveness, but the goddess ignored him.
Oh, yeah.
The poor man, desperate for hunger, sat down under a tree and began to devour his own foot. He spent the night using his body as food. The next morning, there was nothing left of him on Earth.
Oh. It's impressive. He ate its entire self.
In early times, Zeus led the victory of the Olympian gods against the Titans during the Titanomachy, the war between gods and Titans for control of the universe. Zeus became the supreme god, reigning over the world on his throne in Mount Olympus. When the god raised his arm, exposing his powerful bolts, the other gods bowed as a sign of respect. No god had as much authority as Zeus. Only the goddess Hera, Zeus's...
I think what this video is, chat, is I think it's a bunch of different stories. And I think they've just been edited together to be a long-ass video. I think they're all separate videos.
Wife was as respected as her husband, but not even the goddess could go against the supreme god when he was stubborn. Zeus, although he loved his wife, was not faithful to her, and he lived extramarital relationships.
Really?
For this reason, Hera and Zeus fight constantly due to the latter's infidelity. Tired of being humiliated by her husband, the goddess started plotting against the Lord of Olympus.
Is she low-key misunderstood? I feel like she could be.
The other Olympian gods were also
Apart
sick
from, you know, the throwing the child off the fucking mountain.
and tired of Zeus's arrogance and egotism. He ordered and ruled the world according to his will. Under Hera's leadership, they decided to come up with a coup against their sovereign.
Why did I feel
The
so
gods
tired?
entered the room where Zeus slept in a glorious crib.
It's probably because I don't have
Poseidon
caffeine of any
and
sort.
Apollo grabbed the god's arms and
shit.
chained him to his bed,
Let's go.
making use of powerful gold chains made by Hephaestus. By the time Zeus noticed what was happening, he was already immobilized.
Yep.
Consumed by anger, the god uttered the most terrible threats. But the other gods
What's he gonna fucking do, man? He's tied down, like...
paid no mind to him. They were more interested in who would occupy the supreme throne.
Is it just gonna
The
be
goddess Hera,
Yeah.
queen of Olympus and leader of the uprising, considered herself to be the obvious choice to occupy her husband's throne. But the throne had other suitors.
Oh?
Athena thought herself the most knowledgeable and dignified. In turn, Apollo believed that only the sun god could bring light to this new cycle, while Poseidon claimed to be the most powerful. Hestia was the only one who did not run for the position. Thetis, the daughter of Nereus, predicted that a civil war was about to take place at Olympus. The fight of brothers against brothers could throw the world into chaos, and only the steady hand of Zeus could avoid such conflict. Thetis met powerful Briareus, the greatest of the Hecatoncheires, a massive creature with 100 arms and 50 heads. Briareus's loyalty to Zeus was unbreakable, and he went to Olympus. The gods were paralyzed in front of such a creature. The Hecatoncheire broke the chains that imprisoned Zeus. The supreme god unleashed a mighty thunder sound, trembling the whole universe. The gods who participated
It's like in Minecraft when you put the Eyes of Ender in the portal, right?
in the coup laid down their weapons as a sign of submission. This tackled part of the gods' fury. Hera was punished for leading the rebellion against Zeus. The goddess was chained and hung in the sky.
Damn.
She remained in that position until she took a solemn oath, promising she would never rebel against her husband again. Zeus had a special punishment for Apollo and Poseidon. The gods had to serve the Trojan king Laomedon and help in the construction of the impenetrable Trojan walls.
Okay.
In the ancient city of Corinth reigned a rather cunning man. His name was Sisyphus.
Hi, Sisyphus.
He was probably the smartest man of his time.
Yeah?
The smartest, but not the wisest. Sisyphus was a direct descendant of Prometheus. This deity had the boldness to stick his nose into the matters of Zeus and paid a high price for the intromission. And, much like his ancestor, Sisyphus decided to interfere in the gods' affairs. He witnessed the kidnapping of the young and beautiful Aegina by the eagle-shaped Zeus, and he realized he could take advantage of it.
Oh?
Although he was king of a glorious city, this metropolis struggled with a shortage of drinking water.
Awkward.
Young Aegina was the daughter of Aesopus, a river god, who was deeply saddened by the disappearance of his daughter. Sisyphus went to Aesopus and declared, "I know where your daughter is, but this information comes at a price.
Damn.
In return, I want you to create a spring of water to supply my kingdom." Aesopus accepted Sisyphus'
I mean, that's
offer
fair. He can just
and
do it.
created a spring of the purest mineral water. Sisyphus revealed to him what he knew, and Aesopus went after his daughter. King Sisyphus was pleased. This new spring would be a source of abundance and even more prestige to his city. Zeus, the supreme lord of Olympus,
got angry again?
Was enraged by Sisyphus's revelation and ordered Thanatos, also known as Death, to find him and take his life.
Wow.
Some time passed before Sisyphus was surprised by seeing Thanatos in his palace, but an idea quickly sprung up in his cunning and mischievous mind.
Is this the fuckers that tried killing him in Percy Jackson?
He went to death and said, "So, it seems my time has come. I did not expect to die so young. However, I am much surprised by your splendor. Indeed, you are such a magnificent deity.
Is he fucking trying to
You shall
flirt
know
with him?
that of the many gods I have known, few carry such a remarkable and elegant figure.
Is this what's happening?
And before I leave, I would like to present you with some ornaments that will make your presence even more dazzling. After all, these jewels will no longer be of use to me." Thanatos felt flattered with such a torrential stream of compliments and decided to accept the gifts. Sisyphus put a pair of silver bracelets and a necklace on Thanatos. However, those were shackles and a collar. The Corinthian king did what appeared impossible until that point.
That's crazy. He actually cheated
He
death.
managed to cheat death.
Damn.
And Thanatos became his prisoner.
That's
Time
crazy.
passed, and no one died anymore. The
Just-
kingdom of Hades
just
was
no one
longer receiving
died?
any new subjects.
No motherfucker died? That's crazy.
More. The kingdom of Hades was no longer receiving any new subjects.
Yep.
On the banks of the river Acheron, Charon had no more passengers to cross the waters.
No.
The wars set by the god Ares were no longer a source of pleasure for him, as nobody died. The enraged Ares traveled to Corinth. He knocked down the palace door and broke the chains that imprisoned Thanatos. Free, the god of the
I hate this! I want death! I need death!
dead was absolutely sure of his first target, and started to search for King Sisyphus to complete the mission Zeus had handed him. But Sisyphus was expecting that. He told his wife that, if he died prematurely, she would not render the royal funeral services. Sisyphus delivered himself peacefully to Thanatos, who took his life. Charon was already waiting to lead him to the kingdom of Hades, the lord of the underworld. The banks of the river of the dead were filled with souls already on Thanatos' list.
Yeah, did they think they just didn't go far enough, or they were like, when like killing people, or they were just like, damn, this guy's strong? But like, what point do they, it's like the fucking owl thing. How many owls do you have to see in a day to realize something's weird?
Who only now had been sought. Upon arriving in the kingdom of Hades, he was face to face with the god of the underworld, who appeared quite unhappy.
Yeah?
After being severely admonished by the great god, Sisyphus delivered a speech he had already devised, even before his death. "Noble lord of the underworld,
Damn.
I'm aware of my wrongdoings against you and the harm I've caused, but that was not my intention. If I had known that I would harm the great god of the world of the dead, I never would have done so. Aware that I am in debt to you, I have a plea to make.
Oh?
My obnoxious wife refused to perform the proper funeral rites for a king who was so dear to his people. That abominable woman tossed me out, as if I were nothing but a dog carcass. I therefore beg you to let me return to the world of the living for only one day, so that I may take revenge on my wife and set up a proper funeral, which would honor the kingdom of the dead."
What the fuck? No, chat, it's not even throwing her under the bus. He told her, don't do it, and then's like, fuck her, damn.
You have my permission to visit in the world of the living
Hiya.
for only one
Good
day.
evening.
However, by nightfall you shall return to my domains. Sisyphus gave his word that he would return promptly. Sisyphus returned to Corinth. There he met his wife and fled with her. Once again,
It's not gonna fucking
he had
work,
cheated
man.
death.
It's not gonna fucking work.
Now concealed, Sisyphus lived a long life and reached an old age, until he encountered his inevitable end. And encountering Thanatos once more, his cleverness would no longer help him.
Yeah.
Upon returning to the underworld, Hades sent him to Tartarus,
Oh.
where he received an appalling torment.
Yeah.
Sisyphus was forced to roll a heavy boulder from a plain to a mountaintop, but every time he got close to the summit,
That's him.
the boulder became horrendously heavy and
See what I
rolled
mean? Like, dude, this torture methods are like fucked. It's like the most like, it makes no sense. It's like, right, fuck you. Your punishment is to roll a boulder to the top of the mountain, but if it rolls off, you gotta go grab it from the other side.
Back to the starting point. Then Sisyphus was condemned to restart his work for all eternity.
Tantalus.
In the distant kingdom of Phrygia reigned Tantalus, son of Zeus, with Princess Pluto. Due to his noble lineage, he had privileges at Olympus, sharing the table with the gods at the banquets. In his privileged position, he could hear the conversations and plots of the gods. Although he was entitled to all the hospitality of the gods when visiting Olympus, he did not respect his hosts. After leaving Olympus, Tantalus spread the secrets of the gods, which he listened to during the banquets.
It's just a bad idea. It's like going to a fucking Illuminati meeting and then telling everyone about what's the shtick with the Illuminati. You fucking idiot.
In another episode, he stole some nectar and ambrosia from the gods' table, food that conferred immortality and therefore was restricted to the gods. Due to their omniscience, the gods
Wait,
knew...
so the gods are only, like, immortal because they drink this shit? Or is it just, like, this thing makes people immortal, so don't give it to people?
What Tantalus was doing.
If you drink it, do you technically become a god? Like...
However, because they enjoyed his company, they ignored his actions and did not punish him.
Fucking hell.
Tantalus wanted to repay the hospitality of the gods with a banquet in his palace. Zeus, Hermes, and Demeter accepted the invitation. The king accompanied the preparations for the banquet. He wanted the event to be perfect so that the gods would give him even more blessings. He called his son Pelops and said, "My son, today you will have the honor to share the table with the gods of Olympus." "Thank you, my dear father. Finally, I will have, like you, the privilege of being at the table in the presence of my glorious grandfather." The young Pelops walked radiantly towards his room to prepare himself for the banquet. Tantalus called the cook and said, "Today you shall prepare the most splendrous meal." The king whispered something in the cook's ear, who could not hide his concern. The gods arrived at the palace, where they were received with all reverence. The banquet started to be served, and the guests talked about the most diverse subjects. Then, Zeus posed the question, "Where is my grandson? You said he would be among us." "Don't worry, father of my son. You said he would be among us."
Let's go!
"Don't worry, father of mine. Soon he will be at the table with you." The moment of the main course arrived. The cook brought a beautiful stew with an unmatchable...
That looks like it fucks. I can't lie, I'd eat that shit.
...aroma. The goddess Demeter, who was in a deep sorrow due to the departure of her daughter Persephone to the kingdom of Hades, devoured the stew to slightly improve her mood. Tantalus served the stew to Zeus and Hermes. The two gods exchanged suspicious...
Wait, there's a person in it? Oh, maybe not. It looks like some good tomato soup.
Don't you like my offering to the gods? "You degenerate creature! How dare you serve human flesh to the gods?" "It's not a mere human sacrifice, my father. It's the greatest sacrifice. I'm offering you the flesh of my firstborn son." Demeter, who had already eaten a large piece of flesh, felt sick.
I take it back.
"We have been complacent with your crimes in the past, but this deserves to be punished in an exemplary way." Tantalus was sent to Tartarus, where he would suffer a terrible punishment. He was placed in a lake surrounded by fruit trees. The water covered him up to his chin, and the fruits were within reach of his hands. However, Tantalus constantly felt a terrible hunger and thirst. When he drew down to drink water, the lake level also dropped, preventing him from quenching his thirst.
That's funny.
When the hunger appeared, he tried to reach the fruits over his head, but the wind pushed the branches and the fruit away. The gods decided to resurrect the innocent Pelops. They made him even more beautiful than before. However, one of his shoulders was missing, the one devoured by the goddess Demeter.
How did his arm stay on?
Zeus asked Hephaestus to create an ivory shoulder for his grandson. Back to life, Pelops became king of the Peloponnese. Meanwhile, His father suffered eternal punishment in Tartarus, with the objects of his desire so close and at the same time so far away.
Chat, for now, we're going to finish this here because I need to sleep early tonight. Although I'm not sleeping right yet. But thank you guys for coming. I hope you guys did enjoy. We'll continue this tomorrow. So I might be a little bit late to stream tomorrow. I don't know as of right now when I'll be back. I'll maybe be back for like maybe like an 8 p.m. stream. Maybe. But you guys will see me on the Tubathon as per usual. Is it public what the thing is tomorrow? I'm pretty certain it was said on the stream last night, but like I don't know if it's meant to be said, you know? But tomorrow's gonna be really fun. It's gonna be a really fun stream tomorrow. Listening to John Nay chat, who is playing fucking Roblox. With I think just Quabby. But thank you guys for coming to the stream. I hope I typed it wrong. Is it gonna work? Did it work? It did. Yeah, so we will do this tomorrow hopefully and finish it. This is interesting though. I'm enjoying it. You guys enjoying it? I know you guys quite like this shit, so I hope you guys have enjoyed today's stream. I'm trying to think if I have anything else to say. I don't know if I do. I can't think of anything. But thank you guys for coming. Yeah, so I'll be late stream tomorrow. Hopefully I'm not too tired or like dead from running around and shit. Should be a stream tomorrow. There should be. But obviously I'll keep you guys updated. Anyway, I am gonna go now. I'll see you guys later. Bye!